biz. I don't know how I'ma make it, but I know no matter what, I'm finna find a way. All my homies finna eat and I ain't letting no one on my team look at an empty plate. Yeah. Went from a boy to a man, ayy. Every day been making plans, ayy. They don't really understand, ayy. Gotta look out for the family. I won't fall for any scam, yeah. Only worry about the fans, yeah. I won't compromise the brand, yeah. I've been saving up the bands, whoa.
After I get it, I reinvest. After I get it, I reinvest. After I get it, I reinvest. Stack and put it back in it. After I get it, I reinvest. After I get it, I reinvest. After I get it, I reinvest. Stack and put it back in it. Rappers spending money in some really funny ways, man. I promise you ain't really getting paid. Yeah, show a couple bands flexing on the Instagram, and nobody getting fans that way. Yeah, well, you really dumb if you spending all your funds on some clothes and your tape need work. Yeah, you ain't gonna stand if you ain't a businessman, man. I promise you the plan ain't gonna work. Yeah, rappers spending money in some really funny ways, man. I promise you ain't really getting paid. Yeah, show a couple bands flexing on the Instagram, and nobody getting fans that way. Yeah, well, you really dumb if you spending all your funds on some clothes and your tape need work. Yeah, you ain't gonna stand if you ain't a businessman, man. I promise you the plan ain't gonna work. Yeah.
Mister Young and FRGN.
Kick to the gut!
Kick to the gut. Kick to the gut.
Kick to the gut.
Kick to the gut.
Kick to the gut.
Kick to the gut.
Kick to the gut.
Kick to the gut. Kick to the gut. Kick to the gut.
Hey, kick to the gut.
Kick to the gut.
Kick to the gut podcast.
Kick to the gut podcast.
Kick to the gut.
Your podcast sucks.
Yo, let's go. Let's do this. How you doing? Whoa, what's going on? It's a Wednesday. I feel so uncomfortable. What are we doing here, bro?
Man, week, bro.
It's Mr. Young.
And it's Foreign in the building. Welcome to this very random Wednesday episode. You know how it is, bro. Work comes and goes. You gotta shift things around like WWE, man.
Yeah, that's true. But what doesn't change is our love for pro wrestling. Let me give a couple of shout outs right now to everyone in the YouTube live chat. Zane G, how you doing? What's up? Thank you so much for dropping by. And yes, if you're listening to this after the fact though, on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts going, there is a YouTube live video. Yes, there is. You can join us every time we do these podcasts absolutely live. Usually it's on Monday afternoons, but like we mentioned, this week it's on a Wednesday because things happen.
Because Hari Raya. Because last minute work.
Hidayah, hello to you as well. Selamat Hari Raya to you, Farhan, she says.
Oh, so sweet. Thank you so much. Guys, thanks for joining us on this weird timing and making time for us.
Yeah.
I will promise you it's well worth it because this episode we're gonna deep dive into a lot of bloody things, bro.
Yes, bloody thing and gutsy things. Here's the thing, though. I think you might be surprised at what I have to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
But before that, I need to pull out a very interesting statistic. Just before we went live, I mentioned it to you. Thank you everyone for checking out last week's podcast, last week's YouTube episode. It garnered a very huge view. I mean, you know, in ratio to our usual episode views, almost 150 views. So you guys were really interested in watching us relive an old War Games match.
So the question is, for you listening and watching, is it you want to watch wrestling with us together? Is it? If so, let us know in our Instagram account, in our Facebook account, or on YouTube. Anyway, you can reach us, Kick to the Gut. We're everywhere, right? On all those social media platforms. Let us know so we can plan more watch-alongs.
Yeah, man. Hey, we're always finding new ways to interact and engage with our listeners. Have you guys been checking out our wrestling memes over the week?
I hope you enjoy them. We have fun with them because, you know, these things just happen as we go along, right? These incidents that capture the imagination of not just Singaporeans, but everyone all around the world. And it's like, there's so many moments you can apply to wrestling.
Yes, definitely. And the thing about wrestling is so universal.
Yeah.
So regardless whatever local issues happening here in Singapore, I think there's always a wrestling meme that can fit any situation, right?
That's why, huh? So whatever the case may be, hey, follow us on our socials. We would greatly appreciate it. Now, let's get down to business. Like Mulan. In just a bit, we are going to preview WrestleMania Backlash. And, you know, the storylines on Raw, SmackDown, they've all been driving towards that, obviously. That's coming up this next week. But before that, let's talk about it, bro. AEW Blood and Guts. Do you want to quickly run through the rest of the card?
The non-existent tape card. Sure.
I mean, okay, you know what? I didn't hate it. I think there were a lot of bright spots. I know you're like, who is this? And why have you replaced Mister Young? You're saying that AEW was good. Look, I think the numbers don't lie. The Blood and Guts, the whole gimmick of it, right? It drew I think AEW Dynamite's largest numbers by far.
Yes. So apparently they were the number one in cable network for the 18 to 34 or 36 demographic or whatever it was. Seeming to have the largest catch of younger fans that's watching wrestling.
Well, I mean, hey, first of all, Chris Jericho is the demo god, so that makes sense. But I mean, they were unopposed, right? What else was on TV that night?
Well, I can't say much, but the point I'm trying to make is, I guess we have to admit that AEW has a fan base and a very loyal and dedicated fan base.
Bro, huge fan base. Like the more I talk to these fans on my Twitch, follow me on Twitch, by the way, Mister Young 98. Cheap plug for my Twitch account where I play video games. Sometimes we get into wrestling talk, right? And when we do talk about wrestling, it's interesting that there are so many, seemingly more AEW fans than are WWE fans. Now, I wonder if this is like the online generation that I'm talking to. You know what I mean?
We've talked about it numerous times, bro, on the episode about how I think wrestling fans nowadays, we just want to see the highlights, quick stuff, viral stuff. And I think AEW seems to be geared towards that with his product.
Yeah, but that's funny that you say that, because one of the comments that somebody made who is an AEW fan was, AEW follows through with their storylines. They have long-term storytelling. And I went, what? What? Do they though? Or have you just bought into the AEW fan base Kool-Aid? Like, I'm team AEW versus you are team WWE. Boo, we must fight.
I don't know whether there's a precedent for this. I mean, back in the day, during the ECW days, there's a cult of ECW. The ECW fans are hardcore and all that. But I'm pretty sure not every single storyline in ECW was amazing.
No, well, here's the thing. Not every single storyline in AEW, WWE, NXT is amazing. It's usually a mishmash, right? And that's what makes a product good, is if they can give you a good mix of everything.
Yeah, I agree. And also another thing is they have to build towards their show. So one thing I will give props to AEW for is they always find a way to make us want to watch next week's episode of Dynamite. They plan ahead in that sense.
In a way though, are they giving away free stuff on TV? See, they pop the rating because, like, let's say if Raw decided to do that, we'll have SummerSlam on Monday night. Of course they'll pop a rating, what? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't argue on the other side of the coin and say that yes, they're just throwing stuff, giving away too much of their content for free. Whether this is to the detriment of their product long term. Just recently, WWE did something similar. They gave away Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns for free. So yes, there is an argument to be made that could be the case.
Well, then again, AEW does way less pay-per-views. And they are not going to collect live gates. That's not because of the pandemic and everything, right? But funnily enough, I believe next week's show, or I can't remember which Dynamite will... Oh, no. It's the pay-per-view that's upcoming for AEW. They're going to have a full crowd. I'm like...
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
I'm sorry, but what is going on in Florida? Do they have ultra vaccines? Because I don't know if you've been keeping up with the news, bro. Now got variant, this variant, that variant. I was watching CNA just now, and they were talking about this variant in India right now that's so deadly, people losing eyeballs and shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Like the zombie apocalypse, and they're having full-on events. Are you serious?
Wait, losing eyeballs?
Yeah.
What?
I was preparing lunch and my wife was watching the news. I heard it in the background, and I turned over and say, "What?"
Bro, have you watched the Netflix show Bird Box with Sandra Bullock?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I hope that doesn't reach to that scale.
No, but exactly right. So there are multiple variants out there now. It's more lethal apparently, or more spreadable, and yet are they really not taking things seriously over there? I mean, I don't want to get too political or anything, but it worries me.
State thing. It's a state thing for sure. Because you remember a couple of weeks ago, didn't UFC hold their first ever full scale event?
It was in Florida, right?
Yeah, it was Jacksonville, bro.
Jackson, dude, Florida is like the mecca for virus spreading. It's a petri dish of variants right now.
But like that's the thing. Like they mentioned in that UFC thing, they were proud that they had like full on fans for the first time, and they said like we gave the fans the option, the choice to come in as it is. So like it's basically they're saying it's your pasal.
Yeah. You die your tai chi. We don't give a shit. You know.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see. Maybe we are overreacting, right? Maybe it's not quite as bad over there.
AEW has also announced that they're gonna be the first wrestling company to go back to live touring.
Oh my god.
They're gonna have shows, and get this, the shows are Miami, Houston,
Texas.
and I think another city in Dallas, in Texas. So it's basically Texas and Florida. So
yeah. The states that have basically opened up, like Hidayah says, a lot of these US states are opening up. Wow. That's a bold move. Like, look, if they have this thing down on lock, good for them, but if another, wave pops up, they shouldn't be surprised.
I feel very conflicted because as a fan, as someone viewing from home, the crowd makes so much difference, right?
Oh, yes.
I mean, half of the whole fun thing about watching wrestling is seeing how the crowd reacts live.
Yeah.
So having the crowd makes me happy. Watching WrestleMania this year was like, okay, finally, like kind of a sense of normalcy is back again.
Yeah.
So I do want to have crowds back. But I get the safety issues that will come with them. So I hope they do their best. I hope they try to spread them out as best as possible. But I don't know. AEW
they like care.
I mean, Chris Jericho is bro. I know Chris Jericho is awesome and you love him, but he has had some questionable political leanings recently.
Yeah. Well, not everybody is, perfect, right? You can be a great wrestler and you could do shitty things on the side. So it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So be that as it may, they will actually arguably have the better product on television for us. To their workers' detriment, I feel, but we will have the better product because there's a live crowd, right?
Yes, correct. And that might even give a leg up over WWE because WWE hasn't hinted that they might be getting crowds back until as early, probably as late as SummerSlam.
Yeah, but you know what? That's a good thing to me because, okay, WWE, obviously they are a big company and, forget about their whole COVID testing issue. Remember, then some of the NXT talent had the COVID and whatnot. At least, and this is probably them protecting their backside, their bottom line. I'm not saying that, they're so altruistic in not touring and stuff like that. I'm just saying they're smart enough to know, okay, if one event pops off and COVID starts spreading again, we are in so much trouble. Like, WrestleMania was a gamble. Looks like it paid off. I don't think they should start touring. So let AEW go and do it lah.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad PR if things fuck up. If they find out that WrestleMania was a super spreader event,
Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, they gotta play it safe. Like at the end of the day, I don't think they'll be the first company to go about normalcy yet.
But which is fine because like when I watch it, I don't really hate the Thunderdome concept. I know a lot of people are like, oh, they are canned sound effects and stuff like that. But it's like, this whole presentation of pro wrestling you're supposed to suspend your disbelief anyway.
Yeah.
It's like watching Avengers, right? It's like, we know all these are sound effects, where some guy is actually whacking a can to make the sounds or whatever.
My favorite pandemic arena is hands down NXT's.
Okay, yeah.
Because I think NXT uses the best of both worlds. So that they have the technology of like the Thunderdome on top. They have real live crowd reactions. And they do it in an enclosed, smaller arena, more intimate arena that it doesn't matter whether it's a small crowd. It's still going to make a lot of noise.
Yes. So kudos to, I think, Triple H and HBK. They probably pushed with that. And if any sort of super spreader event happens, first of all, it won't be that super because it's a small crowd, right? Yeah. And second of all, it's the quote unquote the minor brand. It's not the major brand that they will
so
get.
It makes sense.
Yeah, they will get into trouble if they cannot. So, it definitely makes sense. So, okay, all that aside, now let's finally talk about AEW Blood and Guts. John Moxley, Eddie Kingston versus Kenny Omega and Nakazawa. Obviously, Nakazawa thrown in there, kind of hammered. He got the pin. No surprises there. I do like Moxley and Eddie Kingston as a tag team. I think we've talked about that before.
Yeah.
I really like Kenny Omega and his like uber douchebag. Like, he is douchebag to the max now. I love it.
I am enjoying Nakasawa. Him as a goon, right? It's like the perfect role for him. I mean, like he's born to play this.
The only issue is he kind of doesn't really have a opponent. I mean, obviously later on in the show they said that Orange Cassidy and Pac were gonna fight next week, right? To determine the number one contender at the pay-per-view. So okay, but like we're so close to the pay-per-view and there's no real clear contender right now.
Okay, here's my thinking behind why they are doing this, right? I think that they couldn't start or ignite a new rivalry only because Kenny Omega was doing his whole TNA Impact side rivalry thing. So he wanted to get it out of the way. And now that he's the champion, I think now he's back to his home base.
Yeah.
And I thought like AEW was like bullshitting when they said like Pac and Orange Cassidy is like the highest rated or like the most victories top ranked guy or whatever. So I actually checked the AEW website and it's true, yeah. Like both of them are actually undefeated in 2021.
But we all have talked about these ratings and rankings before, and we know it's all bullshit lah. You just need to pad the ranking, go down to AEW Dark and beat a few jobbers. Oh, all of a sudden he has 12 wins in a row undefeated. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
I mean, but I do have to admit that I like the fact that there is a new contender, not the same old, not Moxley again. You know. Thank God no Cody Rhodes. So okay lah.
Here's the thing, right? You look at the two. Obviously, they're gonna have a hell of a fight next week. But or rather this week, Pac is sort of in that. I don't know what he's doing. Is he a heel? Is he a face? He got back with the Death Triangle. They were a face. Now, like everything is so confusing with their storylines. That's why when people say they have long-term storytelling, I roll my eyes. Go, what the hell have you been watching? By long-term, do you mean 2 weeks? Because they've been faced for about 2. And then now, like what? Okay, so my guess is Orange Cassidy versus Kenny Omega.
Kenny. And judging by the promo that he gave right before the Bloods and Guts match, when Kenny Omega talked up Pac really, really well.
Yeah, he brushed off Orange Cassidy lah. Like he insinuated that it was a foregone conclusion, which makes it more likely that Orange Cassidy will win, right?
Yes. Do you personally want to watch Orange Cassidy and Kenny Omega over Pac and Kenny Omega?
Yes, because it's new. And here's the thing. I don't think Pac, like, despite his, 20,000 win streak, undefeated bullshit, it doesn't feel like he's been having this great run on AEW.
He's not hot. He doesn't have momentum behind him.
All his heat is he's cold. He is stone cold and not 316, okay?
I can give a comparison in WWE. He is like, probably like Keith Lee right now or like Nakamura.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Keith Lee, bad example because Keith Lee hasn't literally been around. But yes, Nakamura has been around, but he literally has been jobbing around, like beating nobodies, or he just hasn't really been doing anything of note.
Like, you know that the company hasn't strapped that rocket momentum behind this person yet. Yeah.
That's my biggest issue with people saying AEW has long-term storytelling. They don't. It's like, okay, now you throw Pac and Orange Cassidy in. To me, Orange Cassidy is he's kind of lukewarm. Like, literally the biggest thing he had was with Chris Jericho. And then after that, he completely cooled down. He went lukewarm. He had the thing with Miro and Best Friends. I don't think it was very hot at all. And then now finally he's, getting his come up.
They should have capitalized on him beating Chris Jericho.
Yes.
And let him win the TNT Championship.
Yes.
Because I think that's his level.
Build some kind of momentum for him.
Yes, correct. He should have gone there. He could have still kept up his alliance with Best Friends.
Yeah.
But I think the problem was he just basically went back to part of a faction, and that's it. Yep. I want to take issue with something that Chris Jericho said, and I want to hear your opinion on this.
Go.
Chris Jericho basically went on an interview and said that AEW knows how to build stars. We basically made Darby Allin into a main eventer. So please respond.
Yeah, no. Okay, he's towing the company line, quite obviously. At least he said Darby Allin, which, they have been making him into a star, right? I don't think he's a superstar. I don't think he's main event material. But maybe main event for the TV show, I guess. I mean, we talked about this last week. And there are merits to the fact that, he's different. But here's the thing. This is the type of stuff like John Cena would do a US Open Challenge every week on TV. Where this is the US title level to me.
Yeah.
It is not a world title thing.
Yeah. and honestly, in terms of making stars,
No.
I mean, the only thing I would say is AEW has given exposure to a lot of unknown names.
Yes.
Who maybe 2 years ago I never heard of Darby Allin, but because of the TV exposure, yes, now I know all about him. But like a draw, I would say the closest to like, I don't know whether he's even a draw yet, but he definitely has the potential to be a big draw. I think it's MJF.
Yes. Well,
MJF for sure, because I think he has the whole package.
Yeah.
Darby Allin looks too skinny that he might die.
Well, okay, look, I hate saying this, but he looks like I could beat his ass. And you know, I don't want to sound like a tough guy, but
Mister Young, huh?
I know I sound like an asshole saying that, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we've had wrestlers talk about like, you know, why they work out and make themselves look big. It's the intimidation factor. The second you look at them, you're scared. Like, whoa, hey, well, don't mess with that guy. You know what I mean?
Bro, Darby Allin, you know his intimidation factor is similar to who?
Who?
Spike Dudley.
No, he's like in between Spike Dudley and Jeff Hardy. Not as bad as Spike Dudley, but not as intimidating. You know what I mean? He's like in between.
Yeah. And even then, Jeff Hardy is like, you know, he's considered a smaller guy.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you put Jeff Hardy beside Undertaker, you see the size differential, you know?
Yeah.
So imagine Darby Allin. So it's hard for us to like look at it seriously.
Okay, maybe their argument is that, well, Darby Allin is unpredictable and that makes him dangerous. Do you buy that?
Okay, I'm also a big believer that if the guy's character and ability to tell a story is really good, it might even people might even overlook the fact that they're small. Like I feel like someone like Eddie Guerrero, like, is larger than life. Someone like, actually I didn't realize how small Randy Savage is until I saw like a few videos with him beside like Jake the Snake, and like Randy is not that big, but he steroided himself.
Well, I mean, we are definitely not suggesting that these guys should go and like bulk up and steroid up, but to me, Darby Allin is emo boy lah.
Okay, you know who is the best example of someone who is actually a small size, but he got into in so great shape that I can now see him kind of take him a little more seriously.
Okay,
contending against the big guys.
Who?
Your favorite Latino boy, Humberto Carrillo.
Oh, okay. No, but he's quite tall, what?
No, I wouldn't say he. But when you first saw him, you thought he was like, okay, like 205 guy, cruiserweight guy,
fresh
like, okay,
face, yeah.
But then like recently when he got like super ripped,
and
I was like, okay, this guy putting effort in his body.
Yeah.
So that is the difference.
Yeah, and like his character, maybe I don't get it because I'm not a brooding skateboarder, so that is not, you know, I'm not his target market. So maybe that's the, you know, problem, the issue.
Yeah, but let's be clear about this, bro. I'm not a beer swilling alcoholic guy who talks in a Texas drawl. Yeah. But bro, like Stone Cold is my man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
true,
it doesn't matter what is his stereotype, but he must be able to connect. Like I was just watching the most recent A&E biography on Booker T. Amazing series, by the way. Like I love every single episode they've been putting out.
Yeah.
But the approach to the Booker T one, right? I mean, you know about his life of crime and all that kind of stuff, but what made him connect with the crowd, and I think what made him win over a lot of the crowd when he was in those southern territories wrestling against like all white audiences, is that he just looks like a guy that can beat you up.
Yeah, there you go. And that's what what sells the product, right? Yeah, and Shadow, what's up, man? How you doing? Lavin just dropped by the chat as well. He mentioned, yes, Darby Allin is Spike Dudley crossed with Hardy. We just said that right before you came in. So there you go.
Literally.
We are on the same wavelength here. Yeah, and the whole rub with Sting as well. I feel like they're wasting Sting. You know, he just shows up, does stuff. Speaking of which, of course, there was the big beat. Wait, did the beat down happen this week or last week or the week before?
It did happen in this Blood and Guts week. Yeah.
Okay, where he was like, he kinda beat up by Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, right?
So now they have this whole rivalry that Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky are all heel, and they are like having some sort of alliance, challenging for the TNT champion. Okay, I know. I like the fact that the mid-carders are very obvious who are the mid-carders, right? They are around this TNT title. And I thought the brawl itself was pretty dope. Like the fact that they fought on the topmost tier of the stadium. I felt a real sense of danger.
Like stairs and everything. So in that sense, I guess that was, you know, interesting. Okay, you know what I want to bring up as well? I read this online. Somebody commented that It's almost as if every episode of Dynamite, you have the heels teaming up to beat up the a face. It's like they love their heels ganging up on faces. And then I looked at what happened on Dynamite. I'm like, oh my god, they are right. If you think about it, didn't Jon Moxley get beat up after his match? And then second match, Cody Rhodes gets beat up after that. And then you have the Darby Allin getting beat up by this. So it's like I see a pattern here.
Another pattern I realize, bro. There is no match, right, that happens and someone wins and that's the end of the match.
Oh, yeah.
And you go to a new place.
What?
It's either there's some post-match interference, some shenanigans, some guy appears and challenge them.
Yeah.
Like I don't know whether that's a good thing or bad thing. I mean, okay, they are moving the story forward, but I feel it's just so convoluted.
Look, at the end of the day, I really do believe watching as much Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and AEW as we do, right? It feels like AEW is booking on the fly. Whereas Raw, SmackDown, sometimes we shit about their storytelling, but it seems like they have some sort of an idea of where this is going. And they are building towards something. That's where NXT is the perfect one lah. They obviously know what they're gonna do, where they're gonna go with their storylines.
I think what AEW needs to do is really make a league system out of their talent.
Oh wait, hold on. Hang on to that. But what are you saying? Are you saying that the best booker of 2020 is not doing his job?
That goes without saying. But what I believe is that they have done a shitty job of making people care about AEW Dark Elevation. First of all,
Dark Elevator, bro. Dark Elevator. That's
AEW Dark has been around since like almost the start of AEW.
Yeah.
But they have basically I don't give a shit about AEW Dark.
Bro, not even that. On Dynamite itself, who cares who's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 contender? This is what spawned this entire conversation, right? The fact that Orange Cassidy and Pac are the number 1 and number 2 contenders, but nobody cares about them, as in they haven't been built.
Yeah. So if they can make it a point to really highlight, only the best people will be on the main show on Dynamite, you know. They have the best momentum, they're the highest rank, then they will be on Dynamite. Then AEW Dark is like the second show. But make it appealing.
But bro, then how are you gonna have your squash matches? How you gonna have your random QT Marshall family jobbers show up out of nowhere?
Okay, first of all, QT Marshall Nightmare Family totally needs to be on AEW Dark. That is like AEW Dark exclusive storyline. Main event
storyline for the Dark Elevation lah. Okay, like give them that.
lower Dark Elevation. But what I'm trying to say is, right, they can bring up people to get randomly squashed like here and there once in a while. Like, you know, like how I think Raw, they will bring up someone like Raven. I'm so sorry, Raven. I know Raven is awesome, but
get whacked.
There was a point in time where Raven just wrestled exclusively on Sunday Night Heat. Bring him up one time, get squashed by like Big Show or Stone Cold or what, and then go back down.
Yeah,
you know. But like the delineation and differences between each tier of superstars is very, very clear.
Yeah.
Now it's just one whole puddled mess. Like, okay, right now, Miro, obviously on this past week's Dynamite, he officially challenged like Darby Allin for the title. He should have challenged 6 months ago when he debuted.
Yep.
Should have squashed the shit out of him. He should be the one that is on an undefeated streak right now.
Yeah. Instead, he was mucking around with Kip Sabian doing best man nonsense.
Yep.
The payoff was not great, to be honest. He wasted half a year, basically.
They basically Bret Hart WCW him.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sorry, but then I think back to what Chris Jericho said about how AEW knows how to make stars. Now here you have a guy who's kind of already a star, and you did absolute piss all with him.
Yep. You want to know another example of someone who like completely has just fallen off the radar?
Who?
Christian.
Oh my god, yes, you're right.
Yeah.
What?
Where is he?
Yeah. Like, did he take a break? Like, I know he's feuding with
Kazarian.
Kazarian? No lah. Taz and his group.
Team Taz, yeah.
Yeah. No, but the thing is, we are not even sure what he's doing. Like, if they had a really good program that is exciting, interesting TV, we would be immediately, oh yeah, Christian is feuding with so-and-so, right? But now he's sort of like, he fought with Kazarian. That was like an exhibition match or whatever. Like, oh, look, you know, they put on a good match. Then after that, he got beat down by Hobbs. And it's like, I don't know what's going on there. And I frankly don't care.
Yeah. They had 2 hours of TV. You know, when we were watching Raw, SmackDown back in the day, like in the 2000s, even in the 2000s, right? every single time someone appeared on the show, it meant something.
Yes.
If they didn't appear on the show, there's a reason why they didn't appear. Maybe they got taken out.
Yeah.
They got 2-3 weeks they didn't come in. So like they had a way to balance their roster. Right now, AEW is suffering from what I've always feared. They're gonna sign up all the talent. They're gonna have a bloated roster, and they have no space to put everyone.
Yep.
So they shove everyone into factions.
Yeah. Wow.
And they have what it is now.
And the problem is also, it wouldn't be an issue if, like you said, you had the delineation, right? But we have friends of the what's Cody's title?
COO,
whatever. Like you have friends
executive.
Yeah. You have friends of executives in those positions because they are friends of the executive. Like if you look at the roster, QT Marshall is not like he doesn't deserve to be there. You know what I mean? Yeah, Cody is fine.
If QT Marshall was in WWE, he will specifically just play the bodyguard role. Well, I don't mean bodyguard like almost, I mean like the security guard that helps to carry people away.
And then
that's his job.
Yeah, and he gets beat up.
Yeah.
Like, or he tries to separate two people and they get kind of broke kick. Those kind of guys. Yeah, exactly, right?
Or he'll probably be Adam Pearce's like assistant who has to basically just get beat up. Like he literally has no
like nothing.
Appeal.
Yeah. So anyway, wow, we have shit all over AEW.
But okay, I think we also in a way indirectly kind of covered the first hour of AEW's Blood and Guts.
Okay, very quickly episode. Then Cody Rhodes versus QT Marshall, blah blah blah. Cody beat QT, big freaking surprise there. But Agogo beats up Cody Rhodes after. So there you go. You have your heel beating up the face to progress the storyline.
I guess they're trying to push, like the end goal is to push this Anthony Agogo guy.
Yeah.
I know him from his boxing.
Yeah.
I've heard that he was a good boxer back in the day. He got a good story, blah blah blah. But no crossover
appeal. No, he's not. No. He's not one of those like Anthony Joshua, the Gypsy King. What's his name?
What's his name? I know what you mean.
I forgot all of a sudden. He was at WWE lah. That one.
Yeah. I know the one I wanted to face Drew McIntyre.
Oh my god, I forgot his name all of a sudden. Terrible.
Yeah, but we all know. Okay, somebody put on the chat.
Yeah, somebody put on the chat. But yeah, like he doesn't have that crossover name. So to me, this is a completely new guy, right?
Yeah.
And you haven't had him do vignettes or beat up people in matches. You just had him show up one day with QT Marshall. Like, why, if he is such a successful boxer, why the hell is he following some random Walmart guy?
But then there's this other guy that is in the group which actually looks intimidating. But I wish he was highlighted better. I think the Aaron Solo guy or what. He looks like a huge beast.
That's the thing. I don't know who they are. Like it just looks like a bunch of people. Oh, they're beating up Cody Rhodes. I guess I have to pay attention. This is how they're gonna build these characters? I don't know. Call me old-fashioned, but give me a fucking vignette. Give me a video package.
When AEW first started like 2 years ago, I think they did a better job giving vignettes to new debuting superstars. Like they actually put in effort to put production behind it. But I think now it's just oversaturated. They got no time.
Yeah, they got no time. So okay, like just throw you out there. I mean, that cannot be the way. Right? Like, okay, WWE is bringing back a talent. I know it is a very controversial talent, especially after they fired a whole bunch of people. But at least I'm like, okay, what is she like coming back for? What is she gonna do? And I mean, she looks amazing lah. Let's be real here. Talking about the evolution. So at least you see, I have 2 weeks of vignettes already. At least they've hyped her up. You got this Agogo fella who don't know who, the faction, like, who the fuck are you guys? Why are you hanging out with QT Marshall? Give me a video that shows you.
Can I say something that I'm kind of surprised to even say?
What?
But I think Eva Marie in these 2 promos that she showed, right, in since her so-called vignettes that showcase her return, right, has shown me more mic skills than her entire run from the previous.
True. Maybe
career.
Maybe she's improved. I
think she has. Yeah, honestly, I think she probably like became like a successful social media star or whatever it is. She probably improved her ability to present and talk herself up.
She probably took classes, that kind of thing. Yo, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say she's shown more charisma in the entire 2 video packages than all of the factory.
You know what? Some might call her a supermodel, but I like to call her a super role model.
Oh God. See, okay, she's obviously gonna come back as a heel, right? And
Yeah, she has to, man.
like
Come on.
ultra influencer heel. Is she gonna wrestle? I hope she's just a manager.
Hey, you know, if she has impressed me on the mic, I don't know. If she impressed me on the ring, like it's a low bar. So
Yeah, bro, I mean, we cannot deny lah. She looks good lah on the camera.
I mean,
Like-
Eva Marie, I never had a problem with looking at Eva Marie. Come
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Do you remember? Okay, you are a total diva stan, right?
Sure.
Do you remember Eva Marie was like literally on the first season of Total Divas?
Yes, I remember.
And she was like, she and Jojo was like the so-called newbie
Yeah.
rookie divas that trying to win everything.
Yeah.
Even then, I looked at her, I was thinking like, wow, this girl, she got that
Influencer vibe.
a bit of that, you know, a bit of that attitude. Like people will hate her, but love to hate. She, you know who she reminds me of?
Who?
She got a bit of the Sable vibes.
Oh, right, yeah. Like
Yeah.
like so hot until she's arrogant sort of a vibe.
Yeah. And I love it when someone plays up to that. Like, come on, we know the obvious. She's good looking.
Yeah.
Rub it in people's faces, man.
Oh,
You know?
yeah, I think you want her to rub something else in your face. Anyway.
After Ramadan, bro. After Ramadan.
Okay, all right. Okay, so there you go. Cody had his bullshit with Cutie Marshall. Britt Baker beat a jobber, Julia Hart.
Yes. I thought she was from the Hard Dungeon, but clearly I'm mistaken.
No, she got destroyed. And Britt Baker finally get a title shot. Well deserved. She
finally.
definitely needs to take the title from Shida. Like Shida and Asuka almost the same fate. Huh? They won the title and then
Yeah. The problem with how Americans book Japanese wrestlers, this is just my opinion, right?
yeah.
They think just being Japanese is a good enough gimmick.
It's not a gimmick. It's who they are.
Yeah, bro. It's like she's Japanese.
Ooh.
Just let her be Japanese.
And then after when she wins the championship, it's like, okay, we don't know what to do already. Like you
Leave
just walk around being Japanese.
yeah, no, they were just thinking like, okay, leave them alone. Let them coast on the ability. We all know that they're talented, they can perform.
Yeah.
And that's literally their gimmick. Okay, we know that she's good. Okay,
Yeah.
let her be. But why never give them stories?
Because they
You know
don't
what I mean?
they don't know how to write a story around. Like, oh my god.
Okay, you know what was the thing that was the most compelling about Asuka in this last 1 year?
What?
That very brief period when she had like a 2-3 week interaction with Alexa Bliss.
Oh yeah.
She showed character.
Yeah.
She had fear
Yeah.
facing Alexa Bliss, and that worked into a story in the match, which made the match engaging.
Yeah. Speaking of Alexa Bliss, okay, so she showed up on Raw and then on her swing, and then there was this big was it 8-woman tag match, and everyone looked at her, 6 women, and I was like, oh, I really hope they don't put her in a program with Charlotte, because like Charlotte just didn't. To me, it looks like Charlotte wasn't selling it.
My problem is Alexa Bliss. I do not know whether she's a heel or a face.
Yeah,
Because if she's gonna fight Charlotte is a Flair. Charlotte Flair is
Heel.
a heel.
yeah.
So like I don't see Alexa Bliss as a face.
But I just hope they don't put them together for the sheer fact that I know that they're gonna put Charlotte over her.
Yeah. But you saw what happened right in that match. Like Shayna Baszler
Yeah.
apparently had her feet stuck or some shit,
Mm.
some voodoo magic.
Yeah.
So, could it be Shayna Baszler?
Maybe I don't know. Or maybe she just like haunt the entire women's division or something lah.
Yeah. I mean, we can talk about Raw on its own in a bit, but I just feel that Raw is the last show that I'm watching. In terms of importance,
Right.
I couldn't give a shit about Raw.
Yeah. I mean, I don't hate it as much as I think a lot of people do right now. A lot of people say that Raw is damn jalat, but I understand the sentiment, as in a lot of their storylines seem to be flatlining, running out of steam.
They need to completely get rid of this WrestleMania Backlash hump. Get over it.
And build towards something else. I understand. I 100% agree. Okay, let's stay on focus here, on point here. Socal Uncensored. So they, surprisingly, are going to be facing the Young Bucks
Talk about another very cold
this week.
tag team
Yeah,
who
yeah.
have no momentum, suddenly thrust back into the main event.
See, I thought like we just said that, right? Like they just don't. Well, maybe they are going for the sort of real sports vibe. Like you know how in the UFC, like anybody can beat anybody at any given time just with
Yeah, sure.
a good performance.
My thinking behind this is, okay, SEU has a storyline running right now that if they were to lose, they have to disband.
Yeah.
So the only thing I can see going out of this is they're just gonna go on a high, put on one more great SCU match. Then after that, Young Bucks win over them in very heel tactics and clear him lah.
Yeah, and the thing is, the match is gonna happen on Dynamite this week's Dynamite, not even on the pay-per-view.
Well, that just shows what was SCU's contribution to AEW lah.
Their importance. So yeah, they beat Jurassic Express, Varsity Blondes, and the Acclaimed. I actually stopped paying attention to this match when it happened because it was a bit of a clusterfuck. It was, I mean, you look at all the talent in there, a lot of talent, but a lot of green talent as well, Luchasaurus included, in both ways, both physically look green and
literally green,
and in the ring green as well. And yeah, I don't even remember anything from that match.
My thinking was, I thought they would have pushed Varsity Blondes clearly based on the dark side of the ring.
No lah, yeah. Well, then again, who knows? They are so quote unquote with the hip crowd, they might have just done that.
Didn't the Acclaim do like a line where they shit on Brian Pillman?
Yeah, and then they did some dark side of the ring reference. Yeah.
But okay lah. I mean, give it to them like this. They are in with the young crowd.
Oh boy. Div Royalty, how are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us in the chats.
Yes, we're talking bloods and guts. We're talking bloods and guts. You will love it.
She also says Selamat Hari Raya as well. Yes, tomorrow you get a day.
Thank you.
Is it going to be a busy day for you tomorrow?
It's going to be staggered meetings. Like I can see everyone like one shot. But I'll visit my nene, my grandmom.
Yeah, a lot of
so that'll be nice.
Zoom stuff also, huh? Okay, moving on then. That's basically the undercard, quote unquote, of Dynamite. Let's face it, I think a lot of people tune in just for that blood and guts match. So here we go. The Pinnacle versus the Inner Circle. Okay, what stands out? What really jumps out at you when you think about that match? I actually watched the match twice. I remember watching it the first time, and for whatever reason, I didn't have a lot of recollection of what happened during the match. I only remember the ending. So I was like, shit, okay, I'm going to watch it back again. And this is when I started noticing certain things. But you go ahead and give me what you think first.
I mean, overall thoughts of the match itself. And I think maybe because I'm still very influenced by the WCW War Games watch along that we did last week, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely part of their plan to pay homage to the old school WCW style War Games.
Yeah.
Because we've been only exposed to the very recent NXT War Games, right?
Yes, yes.
Very clean, very highly athletic, you know, more of a competitive kind of vibe. But this one feels very old school Southern wrestling, dingy, dirty, bloody, you know, it's rough in its ages, but I think they purposely wanted to go for this aesthetic.
It's funny that you brought that up because right before this happened, we watched that WCW one, right? And you can tell they took a lot of elements from that match and used it in this match, like the spot where they took the turnbuckle metal rod out. I'm like, oh my god, they're doing that, which there's nothing wrong with that. I actually applaud them for that. But I think my biggest issue is, and I don't know, call me old school. I feel like I'm going to use that line a lot, right? And we talked about this last week. The cage should be the weapon. And it makes sense that during the match, they try to dismantle the ring so they can use the ring as the weapon. That is fine. But then you had them bringing in chairs and random other weapons. That to me took away from the gimmick of the cage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I appreciated the fact that the Inner Circle all came out in like prison uniforms and then they had their hometown prisons on the back. That was pretty cool. Because the whole idea of this cell is like, oh, you are trapped in it's like a gang fight. It's like a prison fight, right? So I get it. I love the aesthetic. And the match itself, kudos to everyone. Everyone did, except for Wardlow. He looked like shit. Okay, when you think about that match, who totally didn't stand out to you?
Totally didn't stand out. I'm more inclined to say Sean Spears.
Yep. No, he was the second name I was gonna say. Everything like that Wardlow did in the match was either like clunky or didn't matter. Sean Spears was just there as a body to get beat up. You know. The FTR, they went in and bled like crazy.
Here's the thing I've always wondered about Wardlow. Like, remember his debut match like last year when he had that cage match with Cody Rhodes?
Yeah.
I thought he did really amazing in his debut match. But after that, he never even wrestled anymore.
Yeah.
Like he wrestled once or twice. He did one match with Jake Hager. I'm just confused. Why didn't they give him more reps?
Bro,
Let him wrestle more.
Maybe he's been wrestling every week on Dark. We just don't know. Main event of Dark.
Come on, Wardlow for main event. Okay, the thing about... Okay, let me tell you about people I love in the match. I thought Sammy Guevara would look like a star in the match.
Yeah.
Not just that he was doing amazing, awesome moves. Okay, I have to give his credit for his athleticism.
Yeah.
There's this one thing I don't know whether he does this normally in his matches, but when he was throwing someone into the ropes and like he's doing the duck, the normal duck, go under and all that kind of stuff, then he did like a standing moonsault instead of a normal duck. I thought that was like
right, yeah.
That was a really cool sequence.
Yeah.
And okay, that shows like his so-called like very modern, flippy shit stuff, right?
Yeah.
But what I like about him is that he brought the aggression in this match. He was fearless.
I'm just hoping that by hanging around with FTR, Chris Jericho, the likes of these people, this group, that he builds that edge. So he's not a young buck style wrestler. So he definitely, and I think he showed it in the match. To me, the outstanding ones, like the ones that really got put over, I mean, the three correct people got put over in this match. Chris Jericho, MJF, and Sammy Guevara. And it makes sense if you look at the ending of what happened in this match.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I got to give shout out as well to, I think, Santana and Ortiz.
Yes.
Santana and Ortiz, I think, really thrive in this environment. Of course, we've already seen them doing hardcore stuff. They had that parking lot brawl with best friends.
Yeah.
But I think when Chris Jericho keeps saying like he needs street thugs, he needs savages, like it was like a hometown thing. And them pairing off against FTR.
Yeah.
For me, I was actually enjoying that interaction a lot. Like they went all out with each other. It felt like a prison yard fight.
Yeah, it did. And you notice, right, the weapons that they brought in were very much prison yard fight weapons. See, my issue with having chairs in there was like the chairs don't make sense. But like they had the mad ball, which is their weapon, right?
Yeah.
And then this freaking Santana brought in a fork. Like I was like, I actually didn't hate it because like I can imagine someone in the prison fight hiding a fork in their pants and taking out and stabbing somebody in the eye.
Oh my god!
It makes sense.
Like New Jack shit, bro.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, right? It's a foreign object. It's a foreign object that made sense in that setting. The chairs and everything else did not make any sense.
Okay, I get where you're coming from, but the thing is, Hell in a Cell, we've been having so many non-Hell in a Cell type objects involved as well, ladders, tables. So like I really feel it's too diluted. But I get it. If you want to keep to the very historic nature of the match, keep it simple. You know what I wish they had?
What?
Not really what I wish they had, but I wish their cage was low. Like the ceiling was low, like how it was during War Games. Because I wanted to see things like there was this one sequence that we watched last week where somebody did a back body drop and like the guy crashed into the ceiling and fell down. I thought that was badass.
Yeah. Okay, but you can't have that because Sammy Guevara is like jumping up and down, doing a lot of flippy stuff. And also it would have made the final sequence less impressive.
Do you like that it essentially has a closed cage, closed ceiling on top, or you prefer the NXT version where it's both open?
I actually like the closed ceiling. I think the fact that to get out they must do something dastardly. Or,
the whole point of a Hell in a Cell as well.
Yeah, is to keep everything in so that when they finally break out, some shit's about to go down. So, FTR I think are the unsung heroes of this fight because they put in the minutes in this match. They bled all over the place to make the fight look legit. By the way, talking about bleeding, and I know I messaged this to you. It's like Cody Rhodes came back and said, what? Everyone's bleeding on this card. Okay, I'll bleed also for no fucking reason. So he bleeds in his match against QT Marshall for no reason. He's like bleeding. I'm like, why are you doing Rhodes things?
They wanted to pay homage to the pay-per-view name. Like, everyone must bleed today.
Is it the Rhodes have hemophilia or they have very thin skin, they bleed easily? Like what?
No, they are just attention whores. Like they couldn't have everyone talk about just blood anger. Okay, but right, back to the match. I want to focus on the match.
Yeah.
What I like about the match is how it's always like one person in and one person coming, one person coming. But some of the sequences might get boring if they don't do it right. But I think they plan out the match or booked it well enough that every time someone came in, that the stakes was really great. Like I like how it started with Guevara. Guevara and who was the guy that first started with?
One of, I think it was Cash.
One of the FTR people, and then after that they had a FTR. The other FTR guy came in, so there was like a good flow of people entering, and then by the time the last person came in, the door closed and War Games has begun. But by the time the match officially started, like the hype for it was so strong. You know, like I was ready for them to like
beat the shit out of it. Yeah, they built it up very well. They built everything up well until the end.
Let's talk about the ending.
Okay, before we get there though, I just have to say that when Wardlow came in and he looked like he was just standing there, and even the commentators mentioned like, why isn't he like, you know, unloading on the inner circle? I don't know if he was just blur or is he just trying to stand there to look menacing, but it didn't make sense. Like when Jake Hager came in, he was a house of fire. He came in and started whacking everybody and like, you know, like bulldozing everybody. So I was like, that's why to me, the worst performer in that entire thing was Wardlow. I literally got nothing out of him. He didn't make me feel more intimidated, nothing. And then next to that,
I was disappointed by his performance. I think because like we expected him to go all out in this sort of environment, right?
Smash people, you know. Okay, so then you had Tully Blanchard stealing the key from the referee, you know, unlocking the door. Then you have MJF trying to escape, right? Climbing to the top. Oh no, Chris Jericho follows him. Oh no, you know what's gonna freaking happen already. And then they spent too much time on the top, I think. Because one day in a submission hold, at some point, the what's his face had the armbar, the salt of the earth.
They had a Fujiwara armbar. Chris Jericho did that one. Right? He did a Walls of Jericho on top as well.
Yeah, I think what happened was the like sort of they built it up to that fever pitch. They climbed to the top. Oh, anticipation, and then it took too long for anything to happen. So the anticipation started going down and down and down and down. And then they had the spot where it's like, I'll throw him off. And then Sammy Guevara's like, no, like I don't know if it was. I don't think it was bad acting. I think it was okay, but I think the momentum had already dipped by that point.
You know what was the mistake?
What?
It was a very clear mistake. If you watch it a second time, you probably have seen it. The reason why the ending didn't work was because their camera crew sucked. The production sucked. You know why?
Yeah.
If it was WWE, if it was Sammy Guevara calling out, no, I quit. Okay, we quit. They would have
zoomed in on his face.
The shot on his face. His facials would be strong. They will have one angle on his face. They will have one angle directly zoom at MJF.
Yeah.
And they can switch between that. You know what was happening, right? Do you realize?
They had a far shot?
The camera that was supposed to get Sammy Guevara's reaction was filming him from the back.
Oh, lama. So it's the cameraman's fault lah?
Yeah, the cameraman's fault or someone didn't direct him properly. Because if you realize, right, the shot where he was like, no, it's literally him from his back. And you could just see him just gesturing wildly. There wasn't any drama that was shown. So I felt like it was a anticlimactic.
So this is a fact of a point of they don't have a Kevin Dunn. Is that it?
Unfortunately, yes. Like I feel like one of AEW's biggest problems and one of WWE's biggest strengths is clearly their production value.
Yeah.
And when I say production value, it's not just fireworks, blah, 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 but the quality of their ring crew.
Yep. Cameraman.
Their cameraman. Like you realize, right? AEW always means a lot of weird money shots.
Actually, now that you mention it, I think you are 100% right. And that's probably what made it weak for the people watching at home. Yeah, I think what they were trying to go for as well is to capture two emotions in once. The whole Sammy Guevara going no, and also to get the height because it's a down-up shot, so it looks taller.
Yeah. It's okay to do that, but where's the other alternative camera angle where it's facing him?
Yeah. You're right. So it sort of ended in a... and because the end came and then nothing happened. Like, it's like, okay, I won't throw him off. Psych, I did throw him off. And then, like, okay, even the commentators felt like, how do I say? And I don't know, maybe JR...
Deflated?
Yeah, maybe JR doesn't have it anymore. It didn't feel like that Mick Foley moment.
JR is all of us. He can smell bullshit a mile away. He probably was looking at the commentator, was like, that looks fake.
But okay,
Oh,
I guess yeah. Like you know what I mean? Like I didn't feel the like like oh, and I'm sorry to say this, but maybe he needs to go to Elevation. Maybe.
Then bring out who? Big Show.
I don't know, like maybe Excalibur. Like Excalibur obviously loves the product, and I know we've shat on Excalibur a lot, but at least he brings the energy and like the excitement.
But wasn't Excalibur calling this as well? It was 3 of them, right?
Yeah, it was 3 of them lah. Like, but I don't know, because JR, you always assume that he will be the one. By God, he's broken in half or whatever lah.
Can't expect an old man to keep screaming at the top of his lung.
I
think
guess.
He needs to be the Gordon Solly, like he's more reserved. Okay,
Yeah.
but my issue with the ending, and it still ties in with the theme of bad camera work. I feel like they could have faked the ending, like do exactly the same thing. He can fall off all the crash mats that he won.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If they had filmed it well. Obviously, there was a fuck up there because the camera caught him directly at the point where the so-called concrete painted cardboard gave way and revealed crash pads underneath.
Yeah. I know.
Let me ask you a question, bro. Why nobody complained about the ending of last year's Stadium Stampede?
Because it was all real. It looked real.
It was spectacular, right?
Yeah.
Kenny Omega did a one-wing angel from like the entrance of the stadium.
Yeah.
Like it flew how many feet and it landed. We knew it was clearly crash pads and there was cardboard. But you know what made a difference in my opinion?
The camera.
Camera is one thing, but they had sound.
Oh.
Like he felt through. There was some wood elements there.
Yeah.
You could hear breaking.
Yeah. This one, it didn't sound like he went through metal. It was supposed to be a metal ramp, right? But it was obviously metal colored.
This felt like he was what's that place that in Singapore at Escape, people go there, jump jump into the
bounce, something like that, trampoline.
yeah. It felt like he jumped into like a pool of bouncy balls or some shit.
I mean, it's still a height. We don't want, at the end of the day, Chris Jericho is not very young, and nobody should be jumping onto like concrete or metal or anything like that. I suppose we can forgive that, but I do see what you're saying in that they gave the secrets away.
They should have shot it better. That's the point I'm trying to make. Like another great example of how to do it right. Remember SummerSlam 2000? Shane McMahon and Steve Blackman.
Oh my God! But Shane is crazy though. You can't expect Chris Jericho to pull a Shane McMahon.
No, but actually Shane landed on crash pads. Even though it was a crazy height, he climbed all the way up to the Titantron. But they remember how they shot it? They shot it from a far off angle. Yeah. So they were able to see the actual height. Like, oh my God, this is damn high.
Yeah.
And then when the landing, it looked like it hurt, but it was protected by crash pad. But because it was so far away, it just thought like he crashed through like actual flooring.
Let me give you a recent WWE example. Do you remember Miz taking a fall? Was it against Shane McMahon?
Oh yeah, WrestleMania 35.
Yeah, remember when he fell off this like camera point,
like
and
elevated.
And it also looked like he fell onto crash pads. I think that is a comparable situation where it looked a bit like because he fell onto crash pad and it's quite obvious.
Yeah. Again, I feel that it's okay if the secrets are revealed to the audience in the arena. Yeah. But like they can cover it lah. This is the second time in a row where AEW fucked up an ending of a very, very highly anticipated match.
Okay, you're obviously referencing exploding ring bullshit.
Yeah.
And if you notice these two, it's not so much the performers screwing it up, it's the production, right?
Yeah. Okay, bro. How would you feel if you're Sammy Guevara waking up the next day with like all the bruises around your back, taking a photo on IG showing you how fucked up his body is, and all anyone could say is, bro, fake the ending, weak the finish. Wow. How will you feel as the performers?
Of course, you feel like shit lah.
Yeah, you bleed so much, you gave your all, and people only talk about ending. So I really feel that it's such a waste lah. The only big match that AEW has knocked it out of the park so far, Stadium Stampede.
Well, Stadium Stampede and the Lights Out match, would you say, between Moxley and
the first one, right?
Omega? Yes, the very first one.
Yeah, I would say that as well. That Lights Out match worked in my opinion because they just kept it old school, gritty. They took actual scary ass bumps. And I think the old school finish of pulling up the ring to show the wooden board, I think that was badass. Keep it simple, guys. Like okay, how would you have booked that ending of Blood and Guts if you were still to do the same thing?
Like you said, just get a better angle.
Yeah. So, okay. I wouldn't even do the whole like teasing that he's gonna throw him off and then him begging to stop surrender and then throw him off. You know why?
Why?
Clearly, logically,
and
it doesn't make sense. You know why? The while that was happening, right, the rest of the inner circle were climbing up. Santana and Ortiz were climbing up the cell, right?
Yeah.
They could have easily climbed up fast enough and stopped him.
Yeah, well, it's one of those in the moment things. I think we can forgive them for that. And okay, and I know, shocking, I'm going to give them props here. The right people were showcased right at the end. It was
sure.
Oh, so you pile all the babyface heat onto Sammy Guevara because he was the one like, no, don't, I give up. Like he sacrificed the entire match for Chris Jericho. That's what Chris Jericho means to him. Chris Jericho was the veteran, the one with the big name that needed the saving, right? So he gave that to Sammy Guevara. Meanwhile, MJF is the lying son of a bitch that said, okay, I won't throw him off. But then he turned his back and he did throw him off. So, whoa, what a dastardly heel. So, if anything, this match furthers MJF and Sammy Guevara. And that's the right thing to do.
Would you say, going forward, so-called Chris Jericho is now taken out of action, right? He fell and all that. So he disappears for a while. He doesn't appear until the end of Double or Nothing.
Maybe.
But the next logical rivalry is MJF and Guevara.
Yeah, and
highlighting two stars.
Yeah,
two young stars.
That should be a match at All or Nothing.
All Out.
All Out. Whatever that next.
No, wait. Double or Nothing.
Double or Nothing. Did I say All or Nothing?
Yeah, you combine both, bro.
Yeah, that should be the match at Double or Nothing. And maybe Chris Jericho can come back and help Sammy Guevara win.
Yeah. You know what? I think the best thing to do after this coming week, well, tomorrow's Dynamite.
Yeah.
MJF, Pinnacle come out, gloat. They are the number one so-called faction.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to show any footage of Inner Circle. I want them to like either disappear a while or like maybe shoot footage of them like back at their home base, like all brooding and like defeated in a way. And then at the end of the scene, right, like maybe they're in the locker room and at the end of the scene the camera trains finally on Sammy Guevara and he's like pissed off and he just stands up, he's like fuck this or something, that he just bangs out of the door.
Sure.
Then it becomes like a one-man hunting crew.
But moving on, I see that MJF Guevara will be the feud, and this is a feud that will work and has a lot of build. We talk about, having that momentum and the build. This is the one moving into Double or Nothing that people actually will give a shit about. If you were to give AEW credit, when some of their fans say that they do long-term storylines well, so far anything that Chris Jericho has done with Inner Circle has been quite good. I mean, in terms of long-term storytelling. But like we said time and time again, that's because they let the inmates run the asylum over AEW, right? And Chris Jericho happens to be one of the best inmates. He's like the veteran inmate, so he knows what to do to make things work.
He's a kingpin at this point.
So it is nothing. It has nothing to do with the fact that AEW is giving them great. In a way, AEW is giving them opportunity, but Tony Khan is not giving them direction. It's the performers themselves, and the storylines that have been working are the veteran performers calling the shots.
This just goes to show what they said, right? They're gonna give you a platform. Whether you sing or swim is entirely up to you.
And look, Chris Jericho, his history. In WCW, WWE, he's proven that he can make gold out of shit. He can make chicken salad out of chicken shit, as they say. Yeah.
So the cream always rises to the top. That's what they always say, right?
That's why Cody Rhodes is still garbage.
So you see, why has Chris Jericho's segments has been super engaging and enthralling, and why has Cody Rhodes been getting involved with the Nightmare Family?
Look at who has come over that people are like, they've been held down at WWE. Okay, I know this sounds like I'm pissing on the AEW fans, but I kind of am. Look at your Miros. Look at your Cody Rhodes. Look at your John Moxley. WWE has held them down, so now you give them a huge platform with lots of time.
okay. The only person I would disagree with, I think Moxley is doing great. Like I think Moxley is he's settled in his level.
Yeah, which is like upper mid card. Not main event.
Okay, not. I wouldn't say he's the best guy out of the Shield for sure. He was always the third guy. Even at his best, he was the third guy.
Yeah.
But I feel like I think he thrives on this freedom, and I think the best performer that Moxley can be, you will see in AEW. You will never be able to see in WWE.
Right.
But if this is his ceiling, then so be it.
Yeah, but at least he gets to touch his ceiling. Like, is that what you're saying?
I mean, at least he gets to fulfill his highest potential, which is apparently the ceiling lah.
Right. Which is, whatever.
He's Mick Foley lah. I would say he's Mick Foley. Like he will always be a great respected in that level.
Yeah, but Mick Foley had that moment in the sun. He had epic moments where, and then there's like documentaries about him and stuff like that. He's been celebrated as a legend. Mox.
Yeah, okay. In relative to this generation, he has had his WWE moment in the sun. I thought 2016 was a great year for him.
Yeah.
That was the year where he was the most cheered Shield member. Like everyone wanted him to go to WrestleMania. To fight Triple H, but then he lost at Roadblock lah, and Roman Reigns got a chef. Everyone was super hyped for his match with Brock Lesnar. You know what I mean? And even with the setback of like not having such a great match, he eventually won the WWE title, and they had an amazing 2 months there where Money in the Bank. Remember, all 3 Shield members held the title.
Yeah.
Then they had the Shield triple threat. Like all those things, I think were great, and he was the number 1 drafted guy in SmackDown. So that momentum, that 1 year was well. But I think, like everything else, WWE soured on him for one reason or another. Like what you can tell when someone's not being pushed or someone giving up on someone. So that's the case lah.
Yeah, but back to our point of here on AEW, they are given the time to do what they want to do, right?
Yeah.
And it's very obvious to me who has the chops and who's okay lah. They need management to push them. Yeah.
You're right, because Cody Rhodes was never a number 1 guy in WWE.
Nope.
When he went to outside, he was New Japan, he was ROH, blah blah blah. And now I think he gives off the impression that he thinks he's the number 1 guy.
Yeah.
To me, his best ever match in AEW was still his first match.
The one with Dustin?
Yeah, the one with Dustin. I think that was the only match where I felt true engagement in a Cody Rhodes storyline.
Yeah.
Ever since then, right, I just keep thinking that he's this guy who thinks he's all that, and he just wants to give a rub to less over people.
Yeah, but not realizing that he himself is kind of actually not really that over.
Yeah. Somebody I think who have thrived in AEW, right?
Yep.
Is somebody like Drew McIntyre. Like I think Drew McIntyre, when you hear me out, when he was fired from WWE, and I've been reading his biography, autobiography book, he actually became the king of the indies for a period of 3 years. 3 years, right?
Right.
He revolutionized the British wrestling scene.
Okay.
So before NXT UK, there was this promotion called ICW, Insane Championship Wrestling, based out of Glasgow, Scotland, that basically Drew McIntyre revived. So he actually started the British wrestling boom that led to NXT UK.
Right.
So he went everywhere and he became a touring champion. Like he was TNA champion, he was Evolve, blah, blah, blah. He went to Japan, blah, blah, blah. But the point I'm trying to make is, right, he became so hot on his own that NXT and William Regal and Triple H had no choice but to bring him back.
He became undeniable lah.
Yeah, that's the point. And how ironic you use that word, because Cody Rhodes loves to use that word. What? He wants to become so undeniable that no one can deny.
But I deny.
I think, okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate though. Cody Rhodes works best with a crowd.
Right.
I think, right, his biggest strength, he got his dad's charisma, human connection, like can play to the crowd, can be like this, cut all this like so-called emotional promos. I will call it the emo promos lah.
I don't think so. I will have to disagree with you 1000%, because you see Dusty Rhodes, he was the man of the people. He dressed like a blue collar worker. Okay, Cody Rhodes coming out in his suits and shit. Who's gonna relate to that?
Well,
you see, whenever he goes on his emotional rants, it just feels like an annoying millennial with a lot of emotions.
I'm thinking back to the days pre-pandemic, right, where his talking segments actually garnered a lot of reaction from the audience. And I don't know whether the pandemic kind of exposed him. Like maybe eventually he will have become this whiny, sniveling heel, Doctor Doom type heel, and people will get sick of it. But at that point in time, I think just based off the freshness of AEW, the momentum they were carrying, and people were seeing him as like one of the guys that was spearheading the movement. He was basically like believing his own Kool-Aid at that point in time. But everyone was cool with it, you know. But you're right, lah. It's hard for him to connect after a certain period of time. He's the definition of you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Oh my god. Either way, I feel nothing when he goes on his super long rants. It feels like, oh god, here there you go again. You know, he's whining, he's crying. You know what? One day he's just gonna go on a promo and start bleeding in the middle of a promo for no fucking reason.
Bro, don't laugh, bro. That's so wrong.
And then it's like, why the fuck is he bleeding? It starts bleeding crimson. He was so impassioned. He bladed halfway during the promo and he has a crimson mask.
See my passion. See, I bleed.
I bleed for this business. He literally starts banging his head against the turnbuckle and he bleeds.
Sounds like something Ric Flair would do.
Oh my god, actually I would want to see that now.
Yeah.
It would be hilarious.
No, but Ric Flair, the opposite, he would just start stripping for no reason.
Strip and then he'll fall down, do his flare flop. I love it.
Elbowing his jacket or what. Okay, but okay, let's just put a bow on this pay-per-view or Dynamite episode. How would you grade the match?
The match upon what?
Like upon 10, letter grading.
Upon 10, I would give it a solid 8 lah. I know.
Wow.
I would see. That's why I said you will be surprised. I understand what they're doing. Okay, at the end of the day, what is the payoff? The payoff is you build MJF and Sammy Guevara using Chris Jericho. They did exactly that, and that's what counts to me. Yes, the ending was a little bit like, because of the camera angle and everything. You can't fault the performance. That one lies solely on the production crew and the backstage people, right?
Were you entertained? So
yes,
that's the point.
I was sports entertained, so that's why I would give it an 8. Like it was a different style from the NXT style, and if we didn't watch the WCW one, I would have said like, wow, this is so, this is different, this is very gritty. Yes, very good, right? But because we watched the WCW, I was like, oh, okay, so I get where they've gotten a lot of
influences from.
Influences and inspiration, and I appreciate it. So yeah.
I think as an old school fan, I think we appreciate the homage that they were trying to pay.
Well, not just homage too. It worked in the WCW one because it looked realistic. At the end of the day, what is pro wrestling is the performance of a fight. If it looks too fake, like people doing triple moonsault hurricane ranas in the air, flying jalapenos and shit like that, then you take away the element of realism, right? We've said this to death. And the fact that they made it as real as possible, as grounded as possible, with a few high spots, I appreciated that a lot. That's why I give it an 8.
Yeah, I would give it 6.5.
Woohoo! Wow, harsh. Yeah,
6.5. Yeah.
I must be in a good mood today.
Bro, today is opposites day, man. Mr. Young is saying good shit about AEW and Foreign is like, man.
Not there.
Not bad. Okay.
Really? Okay.
I'll give you my reasons, right? I think that I feel bad. I feel bad for them because I feel like everyone's just gonna remember the finish.
You know what?
It's undeniable.
You know what Vince McMahon always says? Bubba Dudley said it, right? People only remember the finish.
Yes. And as much as you can put in like 100% great effort, it's like watching football, bro. Like maybe your team was doing well, it was 0-0, and then at the 93rd minute, the opposite team just score and the whole day is deflated.
Correct.
You will never remember all the great passing that happened, all the great chances, You just remember, fuck lah.
1-0. Yeah, you remember that.
1-0.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I love everything that led up through the match. Like the match itself was great. I was very invested. But knowing the ending, it just puts a sour taste in my mouth. Right. Sour enough to give minus 4.5 points.
Wow, so
or minus
bad.
3.5 points.
Yeah. Look, the rest of the card I think was quite forgettable, except for maybe the Kenny Omega interview. My God, he's
Kenny
so
Omega
good.
as an interviewer is quite funny.
He's funny and he's such a dick. I love that he's such a dick with Don Callis. It works with Nakazawa and everything, right? But yeah, the rest of the card was like, whatever lah.
Yeah.
But the match,
I wouldn't even count this a pay-per-view or event. I would just count it just a one match show.
One match. Yeah, exactly. And I think that one match delivered on its promise lah, except for maybe the ending. Yeah.
Yeah. But I would love to see this being a regular feature in AEW. I want to see more blood and guts matches.
Only if it's once a year. Let's not overdo it. Let's not overdo it.
Even if it's not once a year, it's fine. Only when the stipulation allows for it.
Yeah.
Only when they have two very hot factions.
Yeah.
No Nightmare Family versus
Factory. Oh my god.
Oh my god. No Nightmare Family versus Nightmare Factory in Blood and Guts. No one wants to see that shit.
Bro, you jinxed it. Scully, next month, the Nightmare Family versus the Factory Blood and Guts Part 2.
No. And then Cody Rhodes and Christian come together. The Cody Coalition.
No. Stop. Stop it.
But like I said, like it needs to have two really over factions fighting it out. If they want to do like random, like I don't mind like a Survivor Series style as well.
Yeah.
Where they come up with like 5 members coming together. But it has to make sense lah.
Yeah. Team Taz versus the Dark Order.
No, sorry. Dark Order are not over in my opinion.
Death Triangle with somebody else. But, yeah. I know what you mean. Like literally, it has to be the two hottest factions at the moment, just going at it. Like the two hottest quote unquote collection of stars going at it.
Yeah.
So let's just move along then. I think we've gone on enough about AEW. Like I said, good match, decent show.
Good shit.
Yeah,
that's such good shit. Okay, I'm more or less satisfied. You know, I think watching this was like watching Mortal Kombat lah. Like,
my god,
it was okay in some parts. Some parts it was disappointing.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat I give 5.5 out of 10. Pass by barely.
Okay lah, same as my opinion of Blood and Guts.
Right. You are very harsh on the Blood and Guts. I see. Let's move on then. Okay. Very quickly, did anything on Raw pop for you other than the modern day Maharaja?
Oh my god! Yes,
back.
he returned. He has returned. Wait. Before that, I also want to hear from chat. Like, what you guys? What's your grade? What's your letter grading for Blood and Guts? So please tell us.
I think Chat didn't even bother watching. No, I'm kidding. Chat, let us know. Because earlier we were talking a little bit about Raw, and Chat kind of went on a tangent and started talking about Raw as well.
So we are catching up with whatever they are talking about now.
Yeah. So like modern day Maharaja. Lavin mentioned that RKO or rather RK Bro is the most important storyline. I wouldn't say it's the most important. I think it's the most fun.
It's the most meme worthy lah.
GIF-worthy
storyline.
Yeah. And then you have like Randy sort of RKOing all of Riddle's friends.
I love. Did you hear what he said?
What?
He said in the ring, he was like, how are you going to have friends if you keep RKing everyone?
Yeah.
Damn cute. He's like saying like a Teletubby TV show like that.
Yeah, he's like very innocent to Randy's like, scheming villain type guy. Yeah. So obviously they're going to feud at some point. I'm waiting for that. We talked about the whole Alexa Bliss stuff already. The tag team division is non-existent.
I mentioned briefly Humberto Carrillo. Apparently he suffered a leg injury. I saw the collision that he had. Do you see it?
No, I think I missed it.
What happened was he went for a sunset flip over the top rope onto the floor.
Yeah.
But as he was kind of doing the powerbomb part of the sunset flip right on the floor, right?
Yeah.
Sheamus landed on his left knee.
Oh, fuck.
And they had to call off the match. The match was basically the X sign straight away came up. So people were just hoping that it wasn't a serious injury, but it looks like he's gonna be out because he couldn't continue. Like he he could sit. You know how when someone is injured, right? He wanted to motion to the referee. He just covers his mouth like that.
Yeah.
I think he can't go on. So like that was kind of sad because
he was finally getting a US title push.
Yeah, very unfortunate timing lah. Very unfortunate, and you could tell Sheamus felt bad for it because he sold like he was on the floor, right? He didn't stand up. He didn't celebrate. He just had this look where like he literally broke character in for a while. So that was quite sad.
That kind of sucks. Yeah. Div Royalty says Damian Priest and then one heart. So moving on to like the stipulation. So poor Johnny Drip. Did you see, by the way, he had this thing, he had the word drip on the side of his hair in silver. It looked damn cool.
Is he like going for some Mexican essay look, like a teardrop?
No. It's like, I think it's like spray painted on or pasted on. It just says drip on the side of his hair. It looks quite cool. I'm low-key really enjoying Morrison and Miz, and I really hope they don't... I hope they don't break them up because it seems like that's where they're going. Because the whole stipulation was, okay, Morrison was going to have a fight with Damian Priest. If he lost, then Damian Priest gets to pick the stipulation for WrestleMania Backlash, right? And, well, he lost.
Yeah.
And so now Damian Priest has selected a lumberjack match of all the matches for this Backlash.
Is it me or like ever since Bad Bunny is like left WWE, like Damian Priest is just very forgettable?
I told you, bro. I told you that whole thing was just to capitalize on Bad Bunny. And my biggest fear was that after Bad Bunny leaves, which he will at some point, right? This is a limited time offer only, that Damian Priest would just be left hanging. So I feel like that's exactly what's happened. He's trying to milk off the rub from Bad Bunny, but it's just not really working.
I wanted him to, use Bad Bunny as a launching platform, but then his charisma would have carried him through because I saw his chronicle. Do you see his chronicle?
No, I haven't.
He definitely openly admitted that he paid homage to Scott Hall, Razor Ramon. Razor Ramon was his biggest inspiration. He's doing the Razor's Edge. He walks like Razor Ramon.
Okay, maybe that gimmick doesn't work anymore. That gimmick worked pre-Attitude Era, but now it's just played out. The machismo shit is played out.
Well, I would say that yes, even though he is taking influences from Razor Ramon, but he has that Puerto Rican heritage that he can play off of. There's a lot of things that I think he has the tools, and I mean, bro, he's huge. He looks like a star. He comes across. He has everything that's needed to succeed. But I think our problem is we saw him. Our initial impression of him is just the bodyguard for Bad Bunny. So it's like, for example, bro, he's Kevin Nash. He had a 2-3 month great run with Shawn Michaels, and then suddenly Shawn Michaels took his ball and go home. And then now he's supposed to focus on Kevin Nash. When he's still like new Diesel, hasn't had a character to him.
And it's funny that you bring up that combination. Did you watch The Untold?
Yes, I did.
Which was really good, right? The thing is, because they pushed, Kevin Nash actually won the world title before Shawn Michaels.
The
bodyguard won.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Why,
on a house show. Do you remember that? On a house show against Bob Backlund.
Yeah, I mean, they did briefly talk about that, but when you were leaving the era, like, what was the thinking behind? Like, did he just over what do you call it? Basically outcompeted Shawn Michaels. He got more over than him or something.
I don't think it was that he was getting so hot that he was taking all the shine. I think it was still Shawn Michaels' show. I think it was a case of WWE management really thinking like, oh, this guy looks good. This is the era where you gotta look good. And like, the smaller guys didn't really get the chances. Like, if anything, Shawn Michaels is the perfect example of you don't have to be a bigger. He broke the mold of that era.
Yeah, that's true.
Shawn Michaels broke through. So them giving him the title also was like a shocker thing because like you never had a title change on a house show loop.
So and it made more sense during the era to give the title to Diesel as opposed to Shawn, because Shawn would have been such a new thing.
Yeah, and also, I don't know, I think there might have been an issue with Bob Backlund, maybe he was leaving or whatever. So they just, you just lose 40 seconds at a house show and not on TV. So
I mean, very weird way to usher in your first ever championship though.
yeah, but I mean, look, he got that rub immediately. Then, he had a match with Shawn Michaels, blah, blah, blah. The rest is history, right? But yeah, like Damian Priest, I know, I feel exactly the same. Like after the whole, I'm Bad Bunny's bodyguard, now he's trying to continue the feud, but do people really care? In fact, I care more about Johnny Drip Drip and The Miz.
Yeah, especially after seeing Miz's documentary. Bro, all these documentaries should just be weaved into the shows on Monday Night Raw. They should like replay certain things from the documentary.
But the problem is, if you do that, then Miz becomes the face, because Miz is very likable in the documentary.
Weird, huh?
Yeah.
Weird to say this, like, knowing how we knew Miz back in 2011.
Yeah.
No, I think Miz is very relatable. I think he's relatable to, I relate to him because I feel like sometimes you love something, right? You're so passionate about something, and no matter how much obstacle that you get or people shit on you or like for liking this one thing, you just can't help but love it. And doesn't matter how badly you get exposed, your love for it is just gonna drive you to just eventually become great.
Yeah.
And you become, this is literally the definition of undeniable.
Yeah.
He is what Cody Rhodes aspires to be.
Well, I mean, hey, Cody Rhodes now has his own reality TV show, so maybe Cody Rhodes is following The Miz.
Aspiring to be there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like you say, he is a face lah. So I hope, you know what? I really hope that they turn Miz face, because I think what else can they do to him as a heel now?
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, it looks like they are going to turn John Morrison face. If you follow sort of their interaction, like John Morrison is this goofy sidekick that says stupid things, makes stupid decisions, but you can't help but like him because he's so silly.
And you know what? It's a testament to the Miz.
Yeah.
I think if this was the Miz's idea, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna keep myself heel. I'm gonna bring up John Morrison, give us a rivalry to last until SummerSlam or whatever. Fine. So do what you need to do.
Where does that put Damian Priest? It leaves him out in the dry. Right?
You know who Damian Priest should have moved on to after this?
Who?
Let him feud with Sheamus.
Oh yeah, the US title. At least give him that prop.
Give him that prop. And I believe that Sheamus and Damian Priest will have really physical matches.
Yeah.
He will definitely be able to measure up to Sheamus.
I agree.
You know, why not?
Quick question. Who are the Raw Tag Team Champions? I've been trying to think of it for the past 20 minutes. I can't remember.
Wait. AJ Styles and Omos.
Yeah, there you go. But I like.
To be fair, they have disappeared for a couple of weeks before they return. So.
But now that they are back, there's seemingly no storyline. They are just like hanging out with the Riker and Elias.
Yeah. Oh man. But you know what? I kind of like that. I can, even though it's in the tag team division, you have great workers in the tag team division. You have Kofi Kingston. You got Randy Orton, and you have AJ Styles. So like, I think AJ Styles is just living life, bro. He is like, you know, I've really had my main event run. Yeah. Let me just put over people. Let me just hang out.
Yeah. Hey, maybe they're building towards RK Bro versus Omos and AJ. Think of the combinations that we can see there.
Yeah. Well, you can see Randy Orton and AJ Styles again. You can see Riddle and AJ Styles, should be very interesting.
Omos and Randy.
Although I was completely going to ignore Omos, just those three combinations.
Randy can't jump high enough to RKO.
Oh my god. Okay lah, Omos is new lah. He's green lah. He is like Commander Aziz.
Oh, that one, another one. Okay, anyway.
But okay, I know we're skipping or talking about Raw, right? But can I just mention something from SmackDown, bro?
Sure.
Because I think SmackDown is once again the best WWE show in my opinion that they're putting out right now, and we always like, by the time we review it, it's like done already, and it's like a couple of days. But do you see the 10-bell salute that Paul Heyman gave Daniel Bryan?
It was hilarious. And then ding, like look, that was some of the best like asshole heel stuff ever.
I think that's amazing.
I sent you the picture. Did you see the picture of when they were sort of like doing the 10-bell salute? They were all looking down. In that moment, they looked like they were going to start breaking out into the Too Cool dance.
Yeah. should put it out.
Yeah. I sent you the picture. What?
Okay, I'll put it out soon. But the point I'm trying to make is, I think here's what I mean about great progression. Story is over, right? Daniel Bryan's over. They put it in the new rearview mirror. Out comes Jimmy Uso.
Oh yes.
And Jimmy Uso didn't fall in line.
No, he brought up the whole issue of, you know, back at Hell in a Cell, how he made him tap out, blah, blah, blah.
Long-term storytelling?
Actually, yes. There you go, long-term. And not only that, actually, I am so happy that you brought that up, because this is what I was thinking near the finish of the Blood and Guts, right? It's kind of the similar scenario. Somebody else, like, he gave up because of somebody else. But somehow the one that they did in Hell in a Cell felt so much more emotional, whereas the one with Chris Jericho and MJF and Sammy Guevara didn't feel emotional.
Well, that's a testament to Roman Reigns as a performer, right?
Yeah, Roman and the Usos lah.
Yeah. And okay, I give chance because maybe MJF, as great as he is, hasn't mastered this nuance of dramatic storytelling yet.
Right? But you go back to what you just said too, the camera angles. That one, they were literally in their face.
Right.
Like he's choking. Yeah, he was choking him out like, oh, okay, I give up. Oh, you know.
Okay, you know how I know what's a gauge for quality storytelling? Like, if it's good, if it's really, really good, it will win over Jim Cornette.
Oh.
Okay, because I know Jim Cornette like loves to shit and something becomes a gimmick, right? But if he really likes something, right, when he praises it, right, it's very refreshing to hear because it's earned, you know?
Yeah.
the praise is earned. So he has been loving and he's been complimenting this whole Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan storyline.
Yeah.
And one thing that he said about Roman Reigns now, right, which I think I really agree, is like Roman Reigns took this number of years to kind of master his character or figure out what works for him. And I think now with the added song, like bro, I think the song has grown on me really. Like the final boss song of Roman Reigns has really, I think, elevated. So I think he has this fully formed final boss. We know what he is. He's the final boss.
Yeah.
But I love that even though he's the final boss, his kingdom is not all that peaceful.
Yeah.
There is treachery. There is there's a potential of uprising. With Jimmy Uso coming back, I love the fact that Jimmy Uso is kind of trying to talk to his twin. Like they're always going to be bonded by blood. So even though they might be of opposing views, he brought this great point. Like, bro, you think Roman Reigns will be there for you when he needs you? I need you right now.
Right.
He just laid all on the line, you know?
Yeah. And so he has the potential of either breaking up the bloodline, or he could potentially join the bloodline. Yeah. You have multi-layered story there. Plus now you have Cesaro as another contender. Plus there's the added thing of like how Seth Rollins is kind of in the mix, but not really, you know?
Do you see the interaction that they had on SmackDown as well?
Yes.
Which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
You sort out your family. If not, I will sort it out. Like, ooh.
Yeah. So yeah, there's definitely multiple layers happening on SmackDown. I agree with you. SmackDown is the show to watch right now.
Yes.
Their women's division, like what has Bianca Belair been really doing?
Well, now Bianca is seemingly feuding with Bayley.
Yeah.
I think Sasha, I don't know where she went. She kind of disappeared this past week's SmackDown. But you know it's gonna be an amazing match with Bayley, and I think Bayley is such a clear heel at least.
Yeah.
It's not like gonna be a face and face dynamic. So it will be a great, I would say, first title defense for Bianca Belair to basically beat someone like Bayley of her stature. So that's great lah.
Okay, so I think we very, off of that, I think we can very easily just talk about WrestleMania Backlash.
Yeah, because we've really kind of like talked about both shows, right?
Yeah, so okay, Damian Priest versus The Miz, lumberjack match. I think we've gone through that already. Priest needs to win this. Miz does not need the win at all.
I think Priest will win, but with the added wrinkle that John Morrison might cost him the victory, might cost the Miz the victory.
Yeah, thus leading to Miz versus Morrison, and then Damian Priest can move on. Maybe now, since Humberto is injured, maybe he moves on to the US title picture.
Slots into Sheamus. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, slots into Sheamus. Damian Priest, I don't think he swings that way.
Machismo.
The Dirty Dogs versus Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio. I don't care.
I mean, for the sake of history making, let Rey Mysterio and Dominic win lah.
The father-son.
Yeah, let the father-son thing run its course.
But what exactly have they been doing that's interesting on SmackDown?
Being a father and son lah. It's like being Japanese, bro. Okay, you know what? I actually really like the Dirty Dogs though. I think they are cool. They actually look like a tag team.
Yeah. And then if they hotshot the titles, and I guess it's Rey Mysterio, so hotshotting would be a
normal thing.
Not a normal thing, but a harsh word lah. He kind of deserves it. But then again, it's like it shows you that they just have really no plans for the tag team division. It would be just an interesting thing to have father and son. Let's go with that instead of the Dirty Dogs who have been establishing themselves.
But we know that they would want to give Rey and Dominic at least one title run, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I am rooting towards. I am leaning towards that. So they should get the title run. But whether they get it now or let it play out a bit, because there is a potential to have a proper rivalry.
Yeah.
So
I hope so. I literally haven't heard Robert Roode do anything, say anything. When was the last time
Ziggler, is it?
Yeah, it's always Ziggler. He will add on a bit. But when was the last time you heard Robert Roode have a proper promo?
Bro, do you know that they actually have a theme song for their tag team? They have a new, they completely created a new theme song for their tag team.
Isn't it like a mashup of their old ones?
Well, they have the intro that is glorious. I'm here to show the world. And then it just goes to new music.
Oh, is it?
New generic, but southern type of country music.
I totally missed it.
Yeah. I don't know whether that means that they're invested in them as a team. I don't know.
Hey, yo, bro, it could be just, you guys want new music? Okay, now you pick from this list of 5 license-free musics on YouTube. And we just mix the intro in.
Rabak.
Super raps. All right. So potential there, but I kind of think that WWE is going to be short-sighted on this and just give it to Rey Mysterio and Dominic.
Yeah. I would love that though.
Yeah, but it does the dirty dogs dirty. Very dirty. All right.
Keep them dirty.
Yeah, let's move on. Rhea Ripley versus Asuka versus Charlotte Flair.
The triple threat and no one asked for.
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley is gonna retain.
I kind of don't care.
Yeah. What in other weird ass news? Apparently Rhea Ripley is playing a heel now.
Yeah, and that's a real like head scratcher. Like, is she heel? Is she face? Are they trying to figure it out? But there's no live crowd, so you can't figure it out. You have to sort of put your foot down and let her be, okay, you are the heel or you are the face. Yeah. But yeah, right now she's just, I don't know. But then you look at this match, you got Asuka and Charlotte, who's very clear face heel, right?
Yeah.
So is Rhea the de facto tweener here?
I guess, but she's no age for sure.
No.
I want Rhea to have a dominant title run though, because she at least okay, we know from her time in NXT she can work.
Yeah.
So she will always give a great match. So if nothing else, if they make her a dominant person in this match, I think I would like that.
Okay, my prediction, as unfortunate as it may sound, because we all love Asuka.
Okay.
Rhea's gonna pin Asuka. Charlotte Flair doesn't take the pin because they've been pushing her like mad with her heel promos, and you know she's changed her look up a little bit. It looks less like I don't know if this is a correct way of saying it, but you look at her ring gear now and the way she dresses, she's less Flair and more corporate Flair. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay, yeah. With the because she's been wearing like all these like women dresses, women like, suits and all that.
She looks more corporate heel versus like the Flair heel.
Got it. Interesting observation, Mr. Young.
Yeah.
What would make sense, like logically, is yes, Asuka takes the pin. Rivalry continues between Rhea and Charlotte. But for that to work, Rhea needs to still play the face. Charlotte needs to be the clear-cut heel.
Or, see, that's why the Raw women's division right now is a bit of a mess. There are no clear-cut feuds or, you know, people sort of going at it. And then, of course, you have Alexa Bliss sort of sitting in the wings, intimidating people, but not actually getting into matches. She's essentially doing the Bray Wyatt thing now.
Yeah, that's true. And we also have one-time Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, who is technically, they are done as a tag team. Like, they should just break up, you know.
Yeah.
You see, right? Actually, the star power in terms of the women's division on Raw is actually pretty stacked. Yeah. You just need to tell better stories. Come on, guys.
Look, with 3 hours, I don't understand how they're not telling better stories, you know?
Yeah. The wild card I would say is Alexa Bliss, like you said. Like she's kind of like just sitting there, brooding over the division. Yeah. I am curious to see what she does because yes, I think Alexa Bliss needs to go back to wrestling.
Yeah. But can we agree that Alexa Bliss is no Bray Wyatt? In terms of delivering this spooky character.
I can't think of her as spooky when I think she's hot. You know what I mean? Like it's tough lah. Like I know being hot is also quite scary. Also, it's like a turn on in a weird way. But
okay, I don't know where this conversation is going. I think we might just have to.
We might need to change subject.
Leave it, bro. After tomorrow, bro. After tomorrow, okay.
After tomorrow, yeah. Okay.
So yeah, like I said, Rhea Ripley over Asuka retains. She needs the momentum. She can't lose it right now. If she loses it, walao.
Rabak. Yeah, and also I think, like I said, like Rhea and Bianca has the same sort of like story. And I want them to have that triple threat at Survivor Series. I want them to last all the way to Survivor Series with Raquel.
That would be nice. Let's move on then. Interestingly enough, when I look at the quote unquote 4 title matches, right, they're all sort of like not really. Oh, because this is, I guess, the backlash of WrestleMania. No, there's no one contender for, this is definitely the headliner. And you'll see what I mean when I talk about the rest. Bianca Belair versus Bayley. Definitely not a front runner like a main event. This has even less build than Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair. I mean, obviously, we know that they can work. That is not the issue here. It's just the lead up has been sort of okay lah.
Story wise.
Yeah, it's like Bianca versus Karen.
My prediction is Bianca will retain, but then Sasha will come at the end of the match and beat her up, and then they will continue the Sasha and Bianca
Do we
storyline.
really want what? And now Sasha is full on heel. So does
Yeah.
Sasha and Bailey, do they come back together again?
They have an uneasy alliance. Two women power trip.
Oh my god. Maybe, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you know why it makes sense? Remember, like the week after WrestleMania, they had this one segment where Bianca came to celebrate, blah, 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 with Street Profits. And then the camera turned to the backstage where it was on Sasha.
Yeah.
Sasha didn't say anything and she just walked off. She was pissed.
Yeah. So
Makes
maybe
sense.
maybe she just took a few weeks off and now this is her big return. She's gonna cost.
Yeah.
But then or maybe they can get into a triple threat feud.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's a lot of triple threats going around right now.
That's true. Okay, actually, speaking of the women's division on SmackDown, now I'm trying to compare, right? So you have who else? You have Carmella apparently getting a push.
Yeah, Carmella. Oh, we forgot about saying about Eva Marie going on Raw. That might be a big player.
Eva is on Raw or SmackDown? Because wasn't her promo on SmackDown as well?
Okay, she never specified, but I saw her promos on Raw.
No, I saw her promo on SmackDown. So I think it might be she could just show up either show. They're just being, coy about it. They're not telling us which show.
Two belts, Eva.
Oh, I could be wrong actually. Maybe she was on Raw because I watched Raw last night. So maybe
she's on
yeah.
she's on Raw. She's on Raw. Very sure she's on Raw.
Okay, well she doesn't need to wrestle with that Raw women's division.
Okay, but on SmackDown, other contenders, Tamina. There's still Natalia, Riot Squad. Don't forget Riot Squad.
Yeah, no, never mind. Riot Squad should just win the tag team titles, the women's tag team titles, and then go to every show and defend, like on NXT. Oh no, wait, no, NXT have their own belts already.
Yeah. Yeah, they need to. They need. I mean, actually, you know what? I'm actually liking Tamina. Like she's been showing a lot of passion. She's in the midst of a once a year push, bro. So like this time last year, remember she was fighting for the title as well, or something during Money in the Bank.
Yeah. Once a year push, huh? Very good. Yeah. Like the fact that I feel like we don't really have much to say about Bianca Belair versus Bailey tells a lot about the storytelling of this, feud. There hasn't been much.
Yeah, but the thing is, Bianca looks great as a champion, so like I don't mind her as a champion. I just want to see her in stories.
Yeah.
Well, keep it engaging.
This is the whole Asuka thing. She's a great champion. She looks good as a champion. She has great matches. But if you don't have a story, anticipation, the build. This is AEW's problem, right? With Orange Cassidy and with Pat. Oh, great performers. They are number one and number two. Really? I don't care.
I know. It's tough. But at the end of the day, you watch who you like, right? So like there is probably a huge market for Bianca Belair fans right now.
Let's look at the two men's main events then. Okay, and looking at this card, I kind of can't, but I can tell which is going to be the main event. Okay, my prediction is that the other one will be the main event. So let's talk about this first. Roman Reigns, Universal Champion versus Cesaro.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think this will be the main event. I feel like Cesaro is the stepping stone. Like,
is it because it's just so obvious that she's not gonna win or what?
Yeah, I think so. Because at least the other match there is like a big question mark. It's like, ooh, someone could pin someone else. It's three horses. But with Roman Reigns versus Cesaro, it's quite obvious. Like,
I think Cesaro will give an amazing match to Roman Reigns. That will probably people will be like, whoa.
That is undoubtedly so. Like, we know that Cesaro can go, Roman Reigns can go. It's gonna be a great match. And perhaps Jimmy Uso will play into it because that's the story that's going into this match as well.
So that's the thing that I would probably say, like, it will be a dirty finish. For some reason, Jimmy got coerced into like interfering or helping out Roman Reigns, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I think the feud with Cesaro will continue. Cesaro, so the family drama will play in the background, but Cesaro and Roman Reigns will continue to the next pay-per-view.
Okay, do you know what is interesting? I feel like this feud, right? The family drama is sort of the more interesting thing, because if it's just Reigns versus Cesaro, it's just not interesting. There isn't a story, like, okay, I know there has been a story like, oh, first time he's got a main event shot, this is his moment, blah, blah, blah. And if they build on that by having him go like almost just to the wire with Roman Reigns, he almost wins, right? Maybe they can extend that story. But right now, it just seems like, oh, Daniel Bryan's been carrying Cesaro's balls. He's so good. He's so good. He's so good. But no, like I'm like, really? Okay, you know.
If they had focused the story on Cesaro, like these last couple of weeks, build him up.
What's the story?
Yeah, no, like do backstage vignettes on him, hype up his history, all that kind of nonsense. Then you would have, at least you know that WWE's focus is trying to make Cesaro. But it's clear that's not the case. Then don't forget one more thing, bro. One more element we never really talk about.
What's that?
Seth Rollins still wants revenge.
Right. So okay. So this can play out so many ways, which is what makes it interesting. But like we talked about, the main focus is not on Cesaro. The focus is like Seth Rollins, Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso. So it's sort of as a match itself, it's going to be a good match, but it's the story around it. And unfortunately, I don't see how it builds Cesaro. Maybe the match itself will build, and this is what, okay, if this was me, this is how I would book the ending, okay?
Yep.
Jimmy somehow convinces Jey not to help. So and Paul Heyman can't help as well, and they literally have a one-on-one match that is so freaking close. So you build Cesaro like he can win, and then Seth Rollins gets involved.
So you're saying that Cesaro challenging Roman is going to be a one-off because Cesaro is going to continue his rivalry with Seth?
No, it can be a triple threat feud. It furthers the intrigue of the Uso thing. Then moving on, you can have Roman Reigns trying to discipline the Usos. You know, you have that other feud.
Got it.
And you could have a like a lower card feud where it's Jimmy versus Jey. So you got brother versus brother.
Well, I'm agreeable to all those storyline things. I think the wild card in this scenario, it will be Seth Rollins. Like, what does Seth Rollins do? Like, because some people, you know, online looking at his interaction with Roman, thinks that he might actually turn back face
and feud with Roman Reigns.
Yeah. I mean, it's not something that I would personally like.
Yeah.
But it seems like something that would make sense in the case that if Jimmy and Jey keeps interfering with Seth, what would Seth do? Seth would have a one-on-one match with Jimmy or Jey, for example.
Yeah, but
then he becomes, you know.
Yeah, de facto face, but he doesn't work. His current character doesn't work as a face, and we all know he's better as a heel anyway. Yeah. So if anything, he can go tweener, or like I said, it can be a triple feud. With
Daniel Bryan gone, who's the number one face right now on SmackDown?
Cesaro. They're trying to push Cesaro as
de facto lah.
Yeah, but I don't think he's there yet. Yeah. Maybe we say like this is the match that will make or break his quote unquote like number one face title.
Yeah. One time Edge also has been gone for a while. We don't know when he's gonna appear.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is Cesaro's opportunity to stamp himself.
Yeah.
I think, you know what I think? Like if WWE is playing it close to the vest, right? They want to see whether this Cesaro experiment works.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work,
move on.
Seth Rollins, very, 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 very capable, safe second choice.
Yeah,
can slot into this main event picture because we have seen Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins as a main event. So, but if they have to turn him to face, it's gonna be kind of a shame, lah.
I'm kind of against that. I really don't see Seth Rollins as a face.
So that is really dependent on Cesaro succeeding, lah. Yeah.
That's why I don't think this will be the main event or the last match on the card. I think that the last match on the card, and they deserve the highlight lah, because you know they didn't get it at WrestleMania, so okay lah, you know, give Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, and Braun Strowman the highlight, the last match of the night, triple threat for the WWE Championship. Okay, predictions for Roman Reigns Cesaro? It's gonna be Roman Reigns, right? There's no doubt. Cesaro's not winning yet.
Cesaro will give a great match. Interference will come into play. Roman Reigns will win.
There you go. Okay. Bobby Lashley, the champion. Drew McIntyre, Braun Strowman. A lot of people have said that this entire feud has been sort of kind of boring. But I'm like, okay, I don't find it boring, but I just find it like, it's alright lah. It's like very standard, you know, like standard big man feud.
What is your opinion on the inclusion of main event Braun?
Main event. Oh no, like
the new Big Show.
Oh god. It is something different because I think Bobby versus Drew again would be like whatever, right? And well, with Braun in there, you have somebody else to get pinned.
That's his only job.
But okay, like we've talked about before, Braun Strowman is the type of guy you can easily slot him into the main event at any time and it would look legit.
Braun. Okay, I like the interaction that MVP had with Braun though. Like he was trying to appeal to. I like the fact that he called him an intelligent guy.
Yeah.
Especially after Shane McMahon has been calling him a stupid
dummy.
idiot.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was nice. And very very curious that he has his own locker room. Oh, he big shot.
Yeah, no, he's too big. He needs the space.
Probably. Okay, but okay, I like that. He's being treated like a proper main event guy. Well, I think he is. He deserves to be in the main event spot. I think he is given a lot of years already. It's just that WWE has just been stop-start with his push.
I wonder if he's actually a face or a heel. Like, I wonder in a real crowd setting, would people cheer or boo him? Because he's kind of like, not really here, not really there.
No, I thought he was a face after Shane McMahon pushed him, right? But then now he did heelish things. He attacked Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
So I'm confused.
I think he's another one of those like, let's see where he lies. He's a tweener in this, and especially in this triple threat, he is the tweener, right? Because Drew is a clear-cut face, Bobby is a clear-cut heel.
Yeah, that's true. And also I feel like at the end of the day, Drew McIntyre, I'm conflicted with him right now. What do you think of Drew McIntyre right now? Does he have momentum? Is he hot?
No.
Is he getting cold?
Like I said, I think this whole thing has been played out a little bit, and I don't know. Like,
so he's just a 1 year momentum champion and now got no more momentum, is it?
Yeah,
Stale?
I think so. I feel like, okay, yeah, we've seen the best of Drew. Unfortunately, it was not in front of a crowd, right? But what else other than, like, you need to build stories. He's the type of guy that I guess needs a good story. And right now, that whole storyline of him winning the championship and then putting it up against everybody is kind of overplayed already.
Played out, yeah. I don't want him to turn back heel.
No.
Because I think a lot of people is giving him the John Cena treatment, like, oh, he's just a face being pushed. Okay, I don't want him to be champion anymore. But I don't think he's like that. I think Drew McIntyre can slide down the card and like feud with Jinder Mahal.
Yeah. Oh, why would you make him do that?
Bro, don't hinder the Jinder.
Okay. Former WWE champion.
Why I like it is because when he feuded with Sheamus, right, there is a real history behind them. And I thought it made the feud like, okay, like very engaging.
No,
and I think
there is intensity there. And that was, I still think that is a wasted feud.
Yeah, definitely. I think they should revisit the feud. I thought that match would have been for the title at WrestleMania.
But
like
no.
Sheamus should, but okay lah. Sheamus landed nicely in the US title picture.
Yeah.
I think Drew McIntyre, being the guy that he is, would want to feud with Jinder Mahal to bring Jinder Mahal back up to the main event level, or at least upper main event.
And at least it wouldn't be out of the ordinary because they have history. And then now Jinder has his Indo-share buddies with him. So it makes it like, okay, they can have those beat downs. Drew McIntyre has to fight from below, even though Drew McIntyre himself is a horse, blah, blah, blah. 3MB. Bring freaking back Heath Slater.
Heath Slater all jacked now. Huh?
Oh, is he?
No, I actually don't know. But I haven't been watching Impact. But I think Drew McIntyre himself has stated. I saw him on social media or something like that, saying that he actually commented on Jinder's return, and he said he would love to like get out of the title picture for a couple of months or like get away from the scene, so that let him tell stories lah.
Yeah, I think that is the right move, in fact, to have him revisit and like we said, the title a lot of times is to just to elevate somebody who isn't really like okay, you either give the title to someone who's just undeniably hot right now, or you give it to someone to build them up. Well, I think Drew already hit that ceiling. So now he needs stories to build him even more. He's already legitimized as a former champion, right?
Do you think that he has already reached the level where he can be seriously taken as a main eventer?
Yes.
Like in the future, they need to slot him back?
Exactly.
He can be counted, right?
100%. I mean, I'm not unfortunately, but if you think about it, that's what they did with Jinder Mahal. It's just that people like Drew more than Jinder Mahal. But if you all of a sudden suddenly slid Jinder Mahal back into the title picture, I wouldn't be like, oh, this makes no sense. I'd be like, okay, don't hinder the Jinder.
Don't hinder the Jinder. Hey, come on lah, bro. He is jacked.
He is jacked. He's been putting in the effort. So yeah, I actually support the idea of Drew McIntyre, not say sliding down the card, but moving away from the title picture so that he can
breathe. Let it breathe,
and he can start a proper, like a heartfelt feud, like Triple H. Foley, was that for the title? It was, right?
Yes, it was for the title. Yeah.
But okay, there are probably better examples. But you know what I mean, like HBK versus Undertaker. It wasn't for title, but it was like, whoa, this might as well be the headliner for WrestleMania.
The Rock versus Rikishi.
Fuck lah, why?
But it was a story-driven feud.
Yeah, okay,
away
Rock,
from the title,
Rock
right?
versus Hogan. How about that? Better example. Okay, you don't need a title. If I would watch Sheamus versus Drew.
Yeah, of course.
So Drew versus Jinder, yeah, sure, they would just have to tell the story. So where does this leave us? Bobby, Drew, Braun Strowman.
Okay, would you take Bobby retaining, and then Drew goes on to feud with Jinder, but then Bobby continues his rivalry with Braun Strowman?
Didn't they have a rivalry for a while?
No, they did not.
Wait.
They did not. No, they did not, because when Strowman was the SmackDown champion, he was on SmackDown. What?
Wait, but
Lashley
didn't they
was
have
exclusively on Raw?
Didn't they have like a series of like no holds barred matches like all over the arena?
Oh yeah, they did that in 2019. Remember when Paul Heyman first became the executive director?
Yeah.
Didn't he spear? I think Braun speared Lashley through the stage. And then it became a whole big thing.
Yeah, it looked really good, and I mean, there was kind of no resolution to that, right?
Yeah. So okay, what you're trying to say is that them as a rivalry, I think, would still be quite appealing, in that sense.
Okay, them as a rivalry would be like Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah, literally, yeah. Because
yeah.
Okay, I don't want to make a inappropriate comment, but yeah.
Oh, but
one of them looks like Kong, lah.
What the hell?
Like
They are giants. Okay, they are giant, and this would be the type of feud where you would have them not fight for a long time until finally at the pay-per-view, then they fight. So it's like. This is a bad example, but Triple H versus Scott Steiner. You do everything in your power not to have them go one-on-one first.
So you're saying like, a lot of arm wrestling contest, a lot of powerlifting,
tug of war,
war.
lifting a truck, all that bullshit, right?
Yeah, I mean, there will be a cool showcase of both their powers, though. I think that'll be cool.
And they both look the part. They can do the part, so it makes sense. And then with MVP trying to just make deals left, right, and center, I think that would be an interesting feud. If anything, to just to get something fresh going. And we know that when they are put in a situation where they have to have a destruction match where they destroy shit, it looks good.
You know what is the end game for Lashley, right? We all know who we want him to face.
Brock lah.
Yeah lah. So if he can survive until SummerSlam, that might be a possibility.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we shall see.
So I see Bobby Lashley retaining. I think he needs to build on this momentum that he has. It would be a waste if he lost it.
Don't you think WrestleMania Backlash is kind of a throwaway pay-per-view then?
It is. The fact that they call it WrestleMania Backlash kind of shows that, okay, well, bro,
Sorry?
I can hear like motorcycles. What's going on, Sia?
I think somebody is murdering someone outside. No lah.
It's grass. I thought it's motor.
It's grass cutters, bro. Don't worry.
I'm like, it's like freaking Texas Chainsaw Massacre going on outside your house. Yeah, what the hell? I thought it was a dirt bike, actually.
No. It's grass cutters.
Okay. But sorry, back to the point here. So yeah, I mean, it does feel like a throwaway. It could have been an episode of Raw, to be honest, if they want to go the whole freaking AEW route.
Bro, do you remember back in the day, they always had WrestleMania revenge tours?
Oh yeah, those were just
like they go overseas and then they just do rematches of WrestleMania matches from that year.
Yeah, it's like house shows lah, but those weren't televised, were they? No, I don't think
they weren't. They weren't televised. But there have been certain Backlash pay-per-views over the years that actually gave really great matches. Like some of the matches were even better than the WrestleMania ones that they had.
But I mean, we've talked about it, right? It just feels like now they are sort of in a holding pattern before SummerSlam. I think a lot of it has to do with also where they see the live crowds and their business going right now, and they have their hands in so many things. I feel like they might be a bit scattered.
Like I said, I think I mentioned to you before, like my wrestling entertainment right now is watching all the A&E biographies, all the documentaries on network, watching Most Wanted Treasures. Like I think that is more entertaining right now.
Which is
the ring.
Yeah, which is scary lah. It just says that the current product is it's not. I see everyone says WWE is shit. I don't. I say it's still entertaining. It's just that it's like watching your favorite TV shows. There will be ups, there will be downs. Sometimes it's like, oh, why do I even keep watching it? But you watch it because you're a fan.
I think right in the future WWE there will be two separate distinct fan bases. There will be legacy fans, and WWE understands that these legacy fans still love their old wrestling, and they will create content to cater specifically for them. And then they will have the new fans where they will have the current storylines, and I think it's fine actually.
No, and then there will be the diehards like us who will watch every fucking thing lah.
Yeah. So I think it's smart that because bro, I think it's gonna be like MCU. It's like in the future, all these comic book fans, we're gonna create like wrestling biographies. Like they're gonna be Hollywood films about wrestlers, and you're gonna come up with like this entire what do you call it, a renaissance of 90s wrestling again.
Yeah, for
probably.
Sure. So I mean, if anything, I see the wrestling business getting even bigger. It's just how it's presented will be vastly different. You have your documentaries, your making ofs.
And it's really entrenched in mainstream, like The Rock as it is a walking wrestling billboard. Young Rock. Mainstream show on NBC.
Stone Cold Steve Austin has his own show. Like people might just stumble onto it and go, oh shit. Oh, I remember Stone Cold back in the Attitude Era, and then they watch the current product, blah, blah, blah. It's all an add-on effect. That's why freaking Cody Rhodes has a reality TV show as well. Anytime they can get their men and women into different forms of media, different types of shows, it benefits the main product.
That's why I can't ignore the Bella's contribution to wrestling. In a weird ass way, they opened new eyes from the reality TV scene.
Yo, 100%. That's why I love Total Divas, bro.
Yeah. More power to you, bro. More power to you, right?
Total Divas, my favorite show. Okay, I think we've covered quite a lot. Today
we've had, and just nice, just after 2 hours. So
exactly, bro. Every week, it's like, okay, we'll keep it at like a short show. We'll just preview, review, blah blah blah. End up 2 hours of wrestling talk.
I think I'm pretty sure like our 1 hour or 20-minute initial rant about AEW at the beginning of the show rounded it up quite well. But no, I hope our listeners enjoy it as much as we do talking about it.
And thank you so much for hanging out in the live chat, by the way, if you're on our YouTube live. We will go back to our regularly scheduled time slot of Mondays at 12 noon. In fact, next Monday, we're going to bring you a off the top of Backlash review. Because
literally like live reaction after Backlash.
Exactly. So next Monday, 12 o'clock, we'd love to see you here on the podcast. And be sure to drop by the chat to let us know what you thought of Backlash as well.
Yeah. And also, you guys make sure you all enjoy your long Raya weekend for those who are celebrating. And also, apparently, WWE Icons is showing next week.
Oh, finally! I've been waiting for what? The first episode was who already?
Yokozuna.
Next one's RVD.
Yeah, bro. So I'm actually looking forward to that. And also this week, I think. Okay, I mean, you watched Brian Pillman's one last week, right?
I watched, but it was like first half only, right? It's not the full episode.
So the full episode has been released already. Okay. 1.5 hours. Check it out, bro. Worth it.
I haven't even watched the A&E one, the latest one.
Have you watched like the previous episode, like Roddy Piper, Randy Savage, and all that?
I didn't know so much about Roddy Piper, until I watched this. I was like, oh, I learned so much about the guy.
Yeah. Pretty cool. I didn't even know that he did a stand-up comedy tour. I'm very happy because I love discovering or rediscovering like old wrestling and stuff. Bro, the Booker T one though, like wow. I know he was incarcerated when he was younger. Yeah. But he went into great detail about his life growing up, and like I think it's an amazing success story. Bro.
I can't wait to watch it. In fact, right after this, I'm gonna watch it.
Go, bro, go watch A&E, bro. It's on.
I know. I'll know how to.
You know.
Yeah. Okay. That being said, everybody, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. If you're listening on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, be sure to hit subscribe on all the platforms. You know what to do. Show the support. Hit like.
Yes.
And slide into our DMs anytime you want to start a conversation about wrestling. We love to talk about that stuff.
Please please react to all the content that we put out. And if you guys have suggestions on things to discuss on our next few episodes, we'll love to do that.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can bring in interviews soon. We'll see. We shall see. We'll let you guys know.
I mean, our local wrestling promotions have been putting on web shows, so that is very interesting, very exciting. Unfortunately, though, with the whole gym situation. Like, right? Oh, I'm talking about, they're like, oh yeah, they're starting up with the shows, and all of a sudden, gym's got to shut down again.
Yeah, I mean, guys, we just have to deal with it.
Hang in there.
We'll post out very appropriate, relevant memes to discuss the situation for sure.
So follow us on Kick to the Gut on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, and of course on your podcasts. Once again, thank you so much for hanging out. We will see you again on Monday. Live reactions from WrestleMania Backlash. As always, it's Mister Young.
Ellen's foreign in the building.
Bruh, Selamat Hari Raya.
Thank you, bro. Take care.
Yeah.